Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our live stream where we will be counting down the Empire Magazine's article of the 15 best Stephen King adaptations. And we will see if we like it or don't like it and see if we can best it. And I have with me, as usual, Elwood and Pete. And our special guest is Dave, Savage Zombie Reviews. How you, Dave, mate?
I'm all good, pal. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Unfortunately, Ricky can't make it tonight. His daughter's not feeling very well. So I wish his kid well. And I'll speak to you soon, Ricky. JT is missing in action. Maybe he'll drop by later on. Let's hope so. But still four of us, four dudes. And that's all we need.
Damn right.
So you guys seen anything good since the last time we did the stream?
Or can I tell you this? Can I tell you this? Because I've had a week off, so I decided just to fucking there was not much doing family wise. So I went away for a weekend, right enough, but there was not much doing family wise. So I just decided that I'm just going to watch movies. So I've got a list here of what I've seen. I've seen some other crappy stuff, but I went to the cinema to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I liked it. It's my least favorite out of the trilogy, but it's still a solid 8 out of 10 film. It's a good film. And then I went to see Across the Spider-Verse, and I have to say that has got to be the best film of the year so far for me. Like, it absolutely blew me away. Even at the end of the movie, right, when it said "to be continued," for me, it was the best drop the mic to be continued section since Back to the Future 2. And that's high praise for me. Like, I almost clapped, and a couple of people in the audience clapped as well. And I was like, oh, I fucking loved it. My daughter's been back to the cinema another couple of times to see it again. I can't wait to see it again. It's every frame of the movie, you could literally just take a screenshot and bung it in a frame. It's that beautiful to look at. Like, but they've also got the story, the humor, and everything like that. Film of the year so far. It's going to take a lot of beating. Then I watched. I got into a lot of Shudder and a couple of rewatches.
Is it better than the first one, though? Is it better than the first one?
It's better than the first one. It's better than the first one, and I didn't think it would be able to do that because I think the first one's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think it's great. I just thought in 3D, it's really, really good.
It's amazing. Do you know what? In the Usher Hall in Edinburgh, and I would invite you guys to join me. I'm just about to buy tickets for it. In October, they are doing a live screening of Into the Spider-Verse, the first one. And they're doing it with, so they screen the movie. I saw E.T. like this, so I can categorically tell you the experience is brilliant. What they do is they show a massive HD screen and they just have the dialogue on. And with E.T., they had a live orchestra playing the music as the movie, and they did it perfectly, and it was stunning. They're doing this with Into the Spider-Verse with a live orchestra, a DJ, and a scratch master.
You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm breaking up. Sorry. Anywho. So if you want to join me, please. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to get myself involved in that. Then I looked at Shudder have been putting a few movies on there. So I watched a movie called Influencer. And it was all right. You know, I recommend it. Give it a watch. There's a boyfriend character in that who can't really act to save his life. He's the only kind of downside in this movie. But everything else is really twisty, turny. It's a good film. And I watched a film called From Black. And if you haven't seen it on Shudder, check it out because it's bloody scary. It's about this lady who's a heroin addict, essentially. And one morning when she's absolutely comatose, her child gets out and is abducted by this nasty serial killer and is never seen again. And then the movie flashes forward 5 years and she's cleaned her act up. She's racked with guilt and she's in this kind of bereaved parents class type thing where everybody's exchanging stories. And one of the group members collars her in a car park one night and says, "Listen, I know that I've told you about my dead daughter, etc., but she's back. I got her back, and it's because of this ritual, and I will perform this ritual and get your son back if you're willing to go ahead with it." and it's great. You need to see this movie. It's very, very kind of the setup's like Hereditary in that respect, but it's great. And obviously, everything.
What's it called again?
It's called From Black. This guy who's appeared out of nowhere to be her kind of shining knight. He's not telling her something, and he's not telling her something very important. And it's very, very scary, and it's very, very disturbing. It's
You
very
said that was on Shudder, did you say, mate?
Shudder, yeah, absolutely Shudder.
Okay.
I watched this Spanish film about, I can't remember the Spanish name of it, but the Bone Woman, and I would say steer clear of that one. The trailer's great, but the film is pish. Then I rewatched the Autopsy of Jane Doe again. Actually, a couple of times. I introduced it to my daughter as well, and we loved it. That movie gets better and better. You know, that is a totally underrated movie. I love that film.
The one with Brian Coxon.
I've never been a big fan of that one.
Yeah. That's the one, Brian Coxon. No, I love it. It's just a little slow burn, the mood of the movie and everything like that. It's just, you care about the characters there. You do. Anyway, I love that film. I love it. And then I rewatched The Medium again on Shudder. And guys, if you love possession movies, you've got to watch The Medium. It's fucking fantastic. It's 2.5 hours, and it just escalates and escalates and escalates. And the last half hour are pure Evil Dead, batshit crazy. The second time I watched it, I didn't actually comprehend how batshit crazy it gets toward the end, but there's genuine stuff that will stay in your dreams in this movie. There is moments of possession in this movie that are up there with William Friedkin's The Exorcist, that effective. It's great. Like, you need to check out The Medium. Like, it's stunning.
Mate, you had me at Evil Dead.
There you go. There you go. Like I said, the endings, the last half hour is that batshit crazy. You might come away and say, the ending's a little bit silly, because it is that batshit crazy. Yeah. But the other two, because by the way, and I will warn you, this movie's a 2.5 hour movie. You're in it for the long haul, but it's never boring. It escalates and it escalates, and it's scary and it's scary and it gets scarier and it gets scarier. And when you think it won't go there, it goes there. Like, it's a good film. And then finally, I watched Malum, which is the remake of The Last Shift.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Did you watch that as well? I know, Dave. You're about to do a review of that, so I won't go too spoilery.
I haven't seen it yet though. I'm watching it. I'm watching it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I won't go too spoilery. All I'm going to say is, I liked it. I liked it a lot, but I think I probably prefer the original. I think I probably prefer the original. I think the original was a wee bit of a gem, but I think this had more of a budget. And I don't know, something gets lost. Something gets lost that was that little bit of fire that was in the original that I really like the original. So if anyone says, Malum, The Last Shift, watch one of these movies, I think I'll always in future revert back to The Last Shift. But
is it kind of like a shot-for-shot remake, or does he kind of differ a little bit?
It differs a little. It differs a little bit. There's some extra context in there, right enough. But
didn't need it. Didn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, after The Last Shift, I would have much rather have seen what this director would do next. To be fair, I would have much rather have seen that. Anyway, my final movie that I watched, and I watched it last on Friday night, and it kind of blew my socks off, was Brooklyn 45 on Shudder. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's fucking brilliant. It's the story of 5 very imperfect characters, and it's set in 1945. They've all just come out of World War II in America, and the ex-army and stuff like that. And they all get invited to this one particular guy's dinner party who's got these 5 guests around, and there's him. And very quickly in the movie, you discover that this guy's wife has recently killed herself, and he has he's been struggling with it, and he's decided to himself that he believes in the afterlife, so he persuades them to take part in a séance. And that's all I'm going to say about the movie, because it's just brilliant. It could be a stage play, this movie, but it's all pretty much done in one room, and it's fucking fantastic. For the 93 minutes that it's on, you're absolutely engaged all the way through, and it keeps on chucking twists and turns out here. It's genuinely scary in places and stuff like that, but it's all about getting you as the viewer, taking you down this little path, and then all of a sudden doing a 180 and changing on you and that kind of thing. And the characters are fantastic. It's perfectly played by everyone involved, and the director just knocks it out the park. Like, I mean, it starts off, it's all in 4.3, and then slowly over the first 2 minutes of the movie, you don't even realize it's happened. It goes into widescreen. He just has these little touches in this movie where he really puts his stamp on it. And it's the same director who did a movie called We Are Still Here a few years ago, and I don't know if you ever saw that. Which has a big bag of crazy, you know. It's got some dodgy acting in there, but it's his first movie, I think. But it's a really good movie. With Brooklyn 45, I have to say, I can't wait to see what this guy does next. It's great. It's great. And apart from that,
I've heard a lot of good things about that, actually. So
it's great. I actually, and I've never done this before, but I went out my way tonight on the Shudder website and stuck a wee review on it and give it 5 stars, because we should be promoting these directors who are putting these little indie gems out like that. Yeah. And you know, it's one of the movies that you think it's far too good for Shudder. It's far too good to be streaming. But then you think to yourself, well, it's all set in one room. How do you put this in the cinema and make people interested in going to see it? You know, so it's one of those ones. But you could honestly, when you watch the movie, you could absolutely envision yourself going to a theater and watching this play. But it's fantastic. Like, check out Brooklyn 45. It's great. It is absolutely good. And it's got some proper possession shit in there as well, like, which is good.
What's going on with Shudder with good movies coming out all the time? I'm gonna have to get it. I haven't had it since Halloween last time I had it. And I shut it off.
Well, to get it back on again. To be fair, you've got to search for them. You've got to search for them right enough. But you know, they release a whole bunch of shit, but there's some good stuff in there. But you know, certainly your Influencer, the least out of the 3, From Black is great, but Brooklyn 45 is a movie that I'll watch, you know, again and again over the years to come, for sure.
Oh, cool.
Same as Deadstream, you know, I'm going to watch that again, that kind of thing.
Oh, I loved that movie, man.
Great.
I really did, yeah. And I know there's a couple of my mates now, I put them onto it, and they were like, Dave, really? You enjoyed that? And I'm like, oh, come on, man.
I loved it.
I loved it, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much the best movie of last year. I thought pretty much the best one that came out last year.
It was up there. I loved it, mate.
Yeah, totally enjoyable stuff, man. You know, and you can tell when you watch a movie like Deadstream, and you can tell when you watch a movie like Brooklyn 45 that it's made by people who actually love the fucking genre and love what they're doing. And that's the ticket. As a horror fan, you can sit there and you can just soak it in, and it's like it's therapy for me. Like, you know, when I watch stuff like that, you know, it's therapy.
I was generally laughing my head off at parts in that movie as well, but some parts of it I was quite creeped out as well a little bit. I was like, it's a bit freaking creepy, this, like, you know.
Exactly.
It was the perfect mix for me. I highly recommend that.
So that's what I've watched. That's what I've watched recently.
You watched a ton, mate.
Yeah.
I think the only one I saw was Black Demon, about the megalodon shark, and that was rank, man. It was so bad.
Is that with Josh
Lucas? In it for about 5 minutes in the whole movie. Josh Lucas movie. Yeah. Same guy directed Rambo: Last Blood. But it was really, it was really, really bad. I wouldn't even bother. Yeah, I wouldn't even bother. If you see it there, just ignore it, man. Pretend it's not there. You won't enjoy it, man.
I heard this week.
But all the effort of making the shark megalodon, and it's hardly in the bloody movie. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I heard this week that Rennie Harlan's just been hired to do another killer shark movie.
Deep Water, I think it's called.
Is it called Deep Water? Right. So they're not quite Deep Blue Sea, but let's have the title Deep Something with Rennie Harlan. I wonder if they get Samuel L. Jackson to come back. Like, that'd be cool. Like.
They'll get LL Cool J back.
We'll play a chef again.
Yeah.
Elwood,
right,
what have you
I don't
seen?
think we can wait too long for JK.
No.
No,
Elwood, have you seen anything, mate?
I finished Yellow Jackets.
Nah, me neither. You could have sent me a message. God damn it.
I finished Yellow Jackets.
Is that any
Dave, I've been wanting to ask you, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Why are you called Savage Zombie Reviews? How did you pick that name, Savage Zombie Reviews?
Oh God.
Dave.
A very good question. Before I started YouTube, I was literally just going to call it like my name. I just got like Dave Oliver Reviews. And I was talking to my mate about it at the time, and he went, "You can't fucking call it that. No one's going to click on that." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right." Yeah. He said, "Come up with a name. Just think of something that might just entice people to click on." And I was just like, "Oh, right, okay." So I remember at the time I might have been watching like, I don't know, maybe Dawn of the Dead or something zombie related anyway, right? And I was watching it with another friend of mine. And there was this like zombie attack in the movie happened. And then she went, freaking hell, that was quite savage what happened to her, wasn't it? And for some reason, something just went into my head and just went Savage Zombie. And I thought, what if I just call it Savage Zombie Reviews? And that was it. That was literally it. And so I thought, right, I'll just throw that up and
it works.
See what happens. So
I did subscribe, Dave. I subscribed this week, but I haven't watched any of your content yet.
Oh, so you're not missing much, mate. It's all right. It's fine.
I watched your Nightmare on Elm Street 3 review, and what I loved about your Nightmare on Elm Street 3 review, the first words that come out your mouth was, "It's all right, Joey. I would have fallen for that shit too." And
exactly.
I totally would have fallen for that shit too, as well. You know, a big pair of plastic titties. I'd totally fall.
Absolutely. If there's any way Freddy Krueger's going to get me in a room on my own, it's exactly that.
Exactly.
I'm following. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I was surprised when I rewatched Part 3 actually, because it used to be my favorite.
It's the best.
And this is why I quite like going back and like rewatching them and then like doing a review for my channel. I still like it. Like it's still, oh God, compared to what I've got coming up, my God, it's a freaking masterpiece. But I was surprised that I actually like the first two like a tiny bit more than the third one now. You know, we're just rewatching them. No, it's a bit. I know it's weird, mate. I used to hate Part 2 when I first watched it. Hate it. But then after rewatching it, I found like a new appreciation for it, to be honest. So
you know what the weird thing about Part 2 is, I don't think Freddy's really scary in Part 1, and he's very dark, and you know he's really scary. But on Part 2, they nail it. Like
yes,
you know, there's a part where the party kind of kicks off, and there's this shot where there's fire, and he's just hissing at the fucking camera, and there's real evil in his eyes. Like they nail Freddy Krueger in this movie on, you know, to look like he's suitably evil in this movie. And you know, I think you mentioned
he's definitely the scariest Freddy is in Part 2.
Yeah. I agree. They nail Freddy Krueger it's the best version of Freddy Krueger for me is Part 2. He's just terrifying, and I even like the look of him in Part 2 as well. Like you really would not want to bump into this fucker in your dreams at all. Like, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he never looks great, but in Part 2 he just looks he never looks great, but in Part 2 he just looks especially just like you say, dark and evil and just like you're all right, I don't want any of that. But then I think in like Part 3 and stuff, I still love Freddy Krueger in Part 3, and I think Robert Englund he's always fantastic as Freddy, it doesn't matter. But they start to introduce like the kind of the comedy elements into Freddy Krueger in Part 3 a little bit, which I don't mind. I think it's a nice little mix, Part 3. I just think the problem is after Part 3 they just go too much with it with Freddy, you know, because he becomes the main attraction then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, didn't on Freddy's Dead, I'm pretty sure he turns up on a fucking broomstick or something like that, like doing fucking Wizard of the Oz shit, and you're like, wow,
as the witch.
What the fuck is this?
I am dreading getting to Part 5 and Part 6, mate. Dreading. Actually, to the point, I'm actually going to fill my fridge full of wine. I'm going to buy a load of whiskey, and I am going to drink watching them, and then do my review.
What was that one where he was on a pizza? Was he on a pizza at one point?
It's Part 4. That fourth one.
He's eating meatballs off a pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what that cockroach scene where he ended where that's a really fucked up, horrible, disturbing.
It's a horrible death, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fucking really horrible death. Like, I remember, I think when I watched Part 4 originally, I wasn't a big fan of it because they killed Kincaid, I think, in the first fucking scene of the movie. And I was like, wow, they've done an Alien 3 in that, man. They've killed Kincaid. And And fucking, but yeah, the cockroach bit. Got
Yeah.
me. I remember it just kind of like it made me sad.
Yeah.
I should never feel sad in a Nightmare on Elm Street film. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
should never feel
I think
sad.
that's the problem with Part 4 as well. They kind of they kill off like the dream. They kill them off far too quick at the beginning of Part 4. And a lot of horror movie sequels used to do that back in the day. If you notice, like your main character, they would just kill him off straight away in the sequel. And you're like,
Friday the 13th Part 2 and all that. Yeah,
yeah. You're thinking, well, what was the fucking point of that then? What was the point of the last movie? If he could just take him out,
I mean, yeah,
all of a sudden,
Take him out like that.
yeah, just. Yeah, basically. So yeah, I'm dreading carrying on with the reviews now for Elm Street, to be honest with you, mate. But I've started, so I'll finish. But I will be interested to, because New Nightmare. First time I watched New Nightmare, I was about like 13, 14 years old, and I didn't particularly like it because it kind of strayed too far from, you know, the Elm Street formula. But I actually have a feeling, and I haven't seen it since then. I have a feeling rewatching it now, I might actually enjoy it.
I think you'll probably get more out of it. Definitely. Yeah. I was the same when I first watched New Nightmare, although I liked the fact that Freddy was darker again, which was good. I didn't...
Serious is more serious.
I didn't know, I didn't know what was going on with his glove. I remember that, but I was a kid when I watched it, and I was like, I don't like his glove. Yeah. And I didn't... At that point, Meta was just flying over my tiny teenage brain. You know,
it was just before Scream as well, wasn't it? It was... Yeah,
absolutely.
No, we weren't used to anything like that.
No. Self-referential, you know, tongue-in-cheek business in horror movies. Like I say, it went over my head. You know, if I was watching a comedy horror, it had to be American Werewolf in London or Evil Dead 2. So I'd know that it was a comedy horror type of thing. But you know, cynicism I didn't get at that age. You know, you're a fucking teenager. How are you supposed to get cynicism? You know what I mean? Now that I'm fucking 47, I get cynicism, or I wake up and I'm cynical, man. I'm like that going. What the fuck, this pillow's crap, man. I bet that cost me a fortune. Oh, when did I pay for that? Blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, I go on to my duvet, my breakfast cereal and everything like that. Cynicism.
Mate, I just called that a Monday.
Totally.
Oh, hey, so guess what? I won a competition last week.
Yes.
Do you want to see what I got?
Yeah. What did you get?
I'll put up the dude's channel. I'll put up the dude's channel. I want
Are we talking actual goodies?
It was just like I've got them here. I haven't opened them yet. I'll quickly put on the dude's channel. He gives away stuff every few weeks. Really good channel. He's like a series collector, and let's see if we can see that. Can you see that? That's the dude's channel, Skin Crawlers.
Oh, right, okay.
He did a giveaway. It's not like a competition; it's more of a giveaway. You just put your name in the comments, and he puts you in the draw. So a few weeks ago, he did what was it? Cannibal Holocaust. So that's not my bag at all. So I left that one alone, and then he did another one a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'll go for that one, and then I like last week he just sent me a message and you won. I went, ooh, nice one, cool.
Oh shit!
I've got it here. Yeah.
Go on, open up.
Tell us.
I'll open it up.
What is it? Hey. Oh, it's not even open. This is like, okay. It's exciting. He's only got 283 subscribers, so that's better odds than the lottery straight away. Like,
subscribe to the channel, Skin Crawlers, subscribe.
Or don't subscribe, so we more have a chance of winning.
Yeah, exactly. Subscribe after I've won shit.
Yeah. Subscribe next month.
All right. So
sweet.
That Crystal Lake Memories.
Oh, nice. So cool.
That's
is
like
so
good. Is that like on for like 6 or 7 hours or some shit like that?
400 minutes. I don't know how many hours that is, but that's a fair few hours. That 400 minutes. Is that on 2 discs? It might be on 2 discs. Oh,
it's got to be on
disc 1 and disc 2. Yeah, it's on 2 discs.
Yeah. It's so good.
It's good. That's good.
Yeah. It really dives into everything that.
Absolutely, very comprehensive documentary. That
yeah,
I've seen it, but it was ages ago when I saw it. Like, I do remember enjoying it, and that's it's a 4K of Argento's Deep Red.
No way!
Oh, nice,
mate. That's fucking cool.
That is cool.
Well done.
Well done, boss.
So, what is it? Skin what?
Skin crawlers.
Skin crawlers.
Skin
Right,
crawlers.
mate, you have a new fan.
Subscribing right
I'm
now.
subscribing right now, yeah. I want Blu-rays. Right.
Yes. I would very much like 4K movies.
That is so cool.
So thank you, mate. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. It's three versions of two. I think there's a Deep Red original version, Deep Red export version. One's got a running time of 105 minutes and one's 127 minutes. This happens to be my second favourite Argento film, this one.
Perfect.
Well
done, mate.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Not bad.
Competition on your channel, I've got a really excellent VHS copy of Brain Damage that you can give away. You fancy that?
Actually, I was thinking the same.
I'm on 905 subscribers. I might get to 1,000 pretty soon. I'm on 905. Never know.
Well, I tell you what, right? Honestly, right? I'll go and get them in a second, right? I was at this convention a couple of years back, and I bought a collection of artwork from this artist who done like drawings of horror addresses, like fucking the Elm Street house, the Psycho house, and all this. So I bought. He sold them in packs for like 20 quid, just prints, and I framed them all. And now that I framed them, I got nowhere to put them whatsoever, like ever. And my missus has told me, you're not fucking putting them up anywhere, ever. So they could be a present. I'm going to go and get them right now because they're fucking awesome. I'll be 2 seconds.
But obviously, Brain Damage
Right, man.
VHS, it'll be better.
That's rare, that, man.
Well, VHS, yeah. Oh, mate, I will never, ever watch that movie again. Ever.
I like that one, man. It's good.
Well, Brain Damage.
It's better than fucking Basket Case, I'll tell you that.
I'm sorry, I'm getting Brain Damage confused with the other one. Oh, what was the other one? Fucking... Oh my god, why is my brain
Damage
just
was the
completely
little
stopped?
Was it Elmo or something?
Yeah,
Elmer.
no, sorry,
Elmer.
mate. I haven't seen that one. I'm getting
It's
it confused
trippy
with
film,
some Brain Dead. Sorry, I was getting it confused with that.
The people.
Yeah, man,
okay.
I will never ever watch that movie again in my life ever.
Yeah.
That traumatized
Right,
me.
check
when
this
I was
out,
a
guys.
teenager.
Loads, right? Look, so here's the first one. It's something called Borgo Pass, which I think is from Frankenstein or possibly Dracula. I think it's Dracula.
Right, okay.
It might
Then
be.
we've got
Mountains, yeah.
And we've got 45 Lambkin Lane, which is the Myers house.
Yes, it is. That is
Yeah.
awesome, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Orca.
Of
And
course.
if you look just over here, there's a little
nice.
shark.
It's a little. It's just kicking.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah. I have no idea about this. When I think it's Frankenstein, though. I think it's Frankenstein, that one.
It might be with the pitchforks and that.
Yeah.
Right.
Then we've got the old
Evil-
creepy place, which is obviously Evil Dead.
Evil Dead for me, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got Elm
Oh,
Street.
of course. Yeah.
Nice.
Although I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't put the number of Elm Street in this one, to be fair, because everybody knows the number of Elm Street. And then Amityville.
Naturally, yeah.
And then finally, you've got the Psycho House,
Psycho.
Fairville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Creep-
cool.
What a creepy house
We
that
could give
was.
them away.
Why are you not allowed to put them up on the walls? Put them on the hallway or something.
Pete, don't give them away. Just
Mate.
give them to me. I'll have them.
Well, there you go, Dave. Dave, I will give them to you. They're yours.
Thank you very much.
No problem. No
I'm
problem.
serious.
No,
I'll have them.
You can have them. Because, yeah, it's one of those things. I keep buying posters and I'm not allowed to put them up. Long story short, for a while, me and my missus didn't live together, and I had this 3-bedroom house that I was knocking around in for, like, I would say a couple of years. And I remember I decided to sell it one year, and the fucking estate agent came round and walked in, and he was like, "Peter, with all due respect to you, mate, you have to completely redecorate this fucking property because everywhere there was fucking quad movie posters everywhere, of horror movies, Evil Dead, blah 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 blah." He goes, your bedroom upstairs a fucking cinema with a big ass Evil Dead fucking banner and all this, blah blah blah. He goes, fucking. So it literally cost me 15 grand to actually put my house back to a house.
Jesus.
Yeah, in order for me to sell it, because I literally bought movie poster after movie poster, framed it and whacked them up and all this, blah, blah. So this room now is the only room where I'm technically allowed to put anything up, like, ever. So, you know, Ruth was horrified when she saw the pictures.
Under the stairs, under the stairs, aren't you?
No, I'm right on the top floor. I'm kind of in the attic space there, but I've got cupboards and I've got all sorts of stuff. And you know, you literally open the doors and fucking rolls of posters fall out and stuff like that. So, because I can't get rid of them, man. It's a compulsion. A couple of weeks ago, I'd had a bottle of wine and I was sat on the sofa on a Friday night, and Ruth was like, "Well, you know what?" She comes in from work and she goes, "What did you get up to tonight?" And I goes, "Well, I spent 50 quid tonight." And she goes, "How have you spent 50 quid on the sofa?" And I went, "Well, no, actually, I spent 28 pounds. She goes, "How have you spent 30 quid on the sofa?" And I was like, "Well, I bought a Twilight Zone poster from 1982. And you know, it's a really good buy. And I had to buy it because it's an original, it's an antique, and you know, and if I don't buy it, it's going to go to rag and ruin, and that's one less Twilight Zone poster in the world, man." It's in a roll. It's in my cupboard. It's in a cupboard.
Twilight Zone the movie poster.
Twilight Zone the movie. Oh, and it's a Spanish Twilight Zone movie as well.
The movie poster.
It's a foreign one as well. So the Twilight Zone is like Lele de la Casa or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why she's mad at you for buying that? Like,
I don't know. I don't get it myself. Like, I don't get it myself. So I have to stop it.
They just don't understand.
They don't understand. They don't understand. You know, it's like that. You know, yeah. Anyway,
that's the one thing I miss about working at a cinema, mate. It's just taking movie posters home with me. Honestly, I used to do it all the time.
Do you know what? Right? I was at my local cinema recently, and I thought, family-run cinema, I'm going to give it a go. And I went, "What are you doing with your Evil Dead Rise poster, mate? You know, once it's finished, can I have it?" And he went, like, stone cold, even though I just spent a fucking fortune in the cinema, he was like that. "No, I send it back to the studios, and it has to be that way because they account for everything." And I was like, "You're a fucking dick, mate."
Yeah.
Dick, man.
Honestly, God, do you want to know? Unfortunately, mate, he's right. You do. It's a pain in the ass, man. But sometimes some are busted up. You know what I mean? They were damaged.
Damaged, exactly.
So they were the ones you just took with you. You know. But yeah, you have to send everything back.
Big cardboard Evil Dead cutout. You know what I mean? I don't think
that would be nice. Yeah. That would be nice. I'd have it. I could never say no to a cutout, mate. If someone said you can take that, I'll be like, "Hold on a second. I've got a friend with a van. I'll be back in 24 hours. I'll be back." And I come and get that shit and take it home and take the abuse. Where are you going to put that? Where are you going to put that? And I'll be like, "Well, of course I'm going to put it in the fucking outhouse, you know, with all my rest of my posters and blah, 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 blah."
I know, man. I had my eye on a Ben Affleck Batman once, but it didn't work out well. I thought I am taking that. The moment Batman vs Superman's finished its run, that is mine.
That's yours.
And then it disappeared. I think someone else took it.
That's why I miss video shops, man, because you could genuinely walk into a video shop and go, "Got any posters?" And they go, "Yeah, have them."
Just give you
have
it,
them. Yeah, it was fucking.
I know, man. I remember going to my local video shop and getting like a House poster. Remember House, the movie House from like 1986, with the finger like ringing the doorbell. It was awesome.
Mate, that poster on eBay is 60 quid right now.
Really?
Yeah, 60 quid on eBay, that poster right now.
We all had the poster and House 2.
House
by
2?
The way.
Yeah.
House 2, yeah, the second story and that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you this bit of good news, right?
Yeah.
My daughter told me this, right? Do you know over the years you buy games consoles and that? I bought my first PS4 and I used my PS4, and then the PS4 Slim came out and I went, "Here, Molly, you can have my PS4. I've got a PS4 Slim," and then you get a PS4 Pro. I ended up with about fucking 3 PS4s. But my first original PS4, I had the game and I downloaded it and it's still on there. Did you ever hear of a game called PT? It was a demo.
It was a trailer that was supposed to be for the Silent Hill game that was coming out, wasn't it? It's fucking terrifying.
It is fucking terrifying. I got halfway through that motherfucker one night and I literally had to phone a friend just so I could hear normal voices to calm me down. It was that scary, right?
He's not even kidding. It was terrifying. I had to turn the light on when I played it. I thought, fuck that.
It's terrifying, right?
Yeah.
So what the story is of this game is they decided they weren't going to make the fucking Silent Hills game. They kicked the creator of PT, Playable Trailer, which just so happens to be my initials as well, PT. Woo, weird. Anyway, they kicked him off the project. They kicked him off the project and they deleted it from the Sony Play Store. So only people who have it downloaded on the machine are the only people on the planet that can play this terrifying game. And I have a PS4. They're going for £700 by now. £700.
No.
£700 with PT installed on the game machine at the moment. And now I love PT. It's a great game, but not as much as I love £700, mate.
Exactly.
I'm gonna sell that shit. Like I'm gonna sell that shit.
I don't blame you.
£700.
Do it.
Yeah, totally.
But there was a Silent Hill game though, wasn't it, on PlayStation 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was going to be the next gen PS4 Silent Hill. We call it. It was
supposed to be. Yeah, it was supposed to be directed by Del Toro, and Norman Reedus was the main character in it, and everything.
That's right. Well, Del Toro.
Yeah.
Del Toro was partly involved in the PT Playable Trailer game, and the game itself can last as long as you want it to last.
Yeah.
Because it's mind bending, and it's very, 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 very difficult.
To be honest with you, mate, if the game was anything like that trailer, I don't think I would have made it past fucking 20 minutes.
No, you're right, mate. Like I say, I literally had to phone people to convince myself just to get me out of that mindset because it was fucking that horrible and scary. Like, it was great. Like, but, yeah. Anyway, I'll stop blabbing. Sorry.
Get that 700 quid, mate.
Yeah. No, I don't think I would like.
Right, I think we should let's quickly get through some comments and then let's get on the main event.
Yeah.
Right. This is my son saying hello. Hello, son. The wife.
Hey.
Hi, wife.
Hello.
Miss Fearsome. Hiya. Hi, Miss Fearsome. Regina says, "Sup, boys, Miss Sis." Hi, sis. That's Gareth. Hi, guys.
Hey, Gareth.
Congratulations on your 200th live stream. 200. Good lord.
Jesus.
Well done, matey.
To be fair, Gareth's probably done 200 like in a week.
Probably.
He fucking does, man. I saw one night this week he had 2 on at the same night. I was like, what the fuck? Are you not knackered? And I know he drinks alcohol as he's doing it. And I'm like, you must be shit-faced by the time you get to the end of the second
This is the thing with Gareth. When I do, like, you've done a live stream with him, haven't you, Pete? You did Friday the 13th part 3, didn't you? Right.
Yeah, that's right.
How he sits there and does not have to go for a piss amazes me, because the amount of times, right, I do a live stream with him, I am holding on for dear life. And sometimes it gets to the point where I'm like, Gareth, I've got to go, man. Otherwise, I'm going to piss the fucking couch.
Honestly, mate, I think he's got a catheter in. That's my only fucking explanation. He's actually got a piss bag on his side. That's my only explanation. Like,
it must be.
He's like that one. He's like, "Oh, Dave, you go to the toilet again? Nah, I don't have to worry about that with my trusty piss bag. Thanks very much." And I think he's smiling.
One of the times I thought to myself, I should just wear an adult fucking nappy or whatever when I do a live stream.
His man pants.
But it just amazes me.
Actually, I've got a live stream on. Yeah, I've got a live stream on Gareth's channels tomorrow. I'm doing Hard Target. If anybody wants to watch, I think it should be streaming on my channel.
Hard Target.
Yeah, I've got
some Hard Target.
I've got Double Impact on Friday.
So,
all right, nice.
The live stream, the copyright thing. I mean, we got like ours went tits up, didn't it, with Retribution?
Yeah, yeah, got it down. Yeah.
The other people do it, and that's all right. So why did ours go wrong? Where did it go? Where did it all go wrong?
Our picture was too big and our volume was too high.
Yeah, I think when the sun went down, when it got dark, it got really bright. The screen got really bright. You could see it super clearly. That was exactly the time it got took down, was when it got completely dark. God, and I didn't realize it was happening because it was happening gradually to me. I didn't realize because I didn't change anything. Then all of a sudden it was like super clear. I was enjoying watching it, and then we're gone. And
so
I
got
a nasty message from them saying, if you do it again, you're going to get a strike. And I went, okay.
So, sorry. Yeah, I think Gareth just seems to kind of have nailed it, hasn't he? He knows what to do and what to get away with. You know.
Score, yeah.
With the interesting
Right,
thing
Jamie
is,
Hart says hello. Go on, Pete.
I was just saying, Garrett's actually doing a live stream as we speak, and he's still typing. All right, lads. So, to you, it's nuts, man.
He knows the crack, man. Dave says, I heard today is something about Stephen King movies. That's correct.
No.
Typically, most of them are terrible, but there are a few bright spots at least.
Typically most of them are terrible. That is true.
I've got my list of 15, by the way. Just saying, I've got my list of
Nice
15.
one.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've got past 10.
I've got 10 of me.
Thank you for your intro,
Dave
by the
says,
way, Pat. I was like that. Oh shit, forgot about that one. Yes.
I put as many clips as I could in. Dave says, my bedrooms are always like that. One of my original bedrooms had Freddy Krueger posters all over it until I put up pictures of girls and all kinds of more normal or typical people type stuff.
Yeah, you cheeky bastard.
Cheeky chappy.
Yeah.
I used to have a Baywatch poster right above it when I used to sleep when I was in uni. It was right above there.
I bet you did.
But I took that down after a while because it was distracting.
It wasn't David Hasselhoff, was it?
Pamela Anderson it was.
What was the other one? Yasmin. Yasmin.
My first ever house that I had with a lass that I shared with, like a real girl and everything, right? We had this double bed, and I had this 7-foot poster of the Spice Girls in lingerie, like above the bed. That poor lass had to, every morning when she woke up, she had to stare at the Spice Girls in lingerie.
Spice Girls.
It was a long time ago, Elwood. Don't look at me like that, man. You know, it was all about the ginger spice. It was all about the ginger spice.
Was that your favourite one, was it?
Oh, definitely. Jerry was the one. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, it was Jerry.
I was a baby spice man myself.
Baby spice, okay.
Well, like, to be fair.
I thought you liked sporty, you told me. You're all about the sporty.
I'm not.
I'll tell you what, though. Have you seen her nowadays? She's the best looking one of the lot. Sporty Spice.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honestly. Look her up.
Is she like a fine wine?
Oh, yeah.
She's matured.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. I will have to check that out.
Not wearing tracksuit bottoms anymore, I tell you.
No way.
No.
Shit. Yeah,
right, Dave says, nowadays I have about 30 comic books on my wall and a few science fiction movie posters, plus some action figures up on the walls and some set up too. Jimmy says, I wish PT was still available. So scary.
Jamie, don't worry about it. I will sell you it for £700.
600.
Joe Norton says, think of how many posters you can get with £700.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jamie says they're remaking Silent Hill 2 and 3 right now with plans to release 3 more new games, one set in Japan.
Yeah.
That's the original Silent Hill, man. It's one of my favorite ever games.
Oh, it's creepy.
I got stuck on Silent Hill 2, man.
Yeah.
Stuck on it.
Yeah.
Right. Should we get on with the main event?
Absolutely.
Actually, I've got a brain teaser before we get into that. Right, here's a brain teaser question. Okay. It says the late great Wes Craven is one of the few masters of horror who never directed a Stephen King adaptation, which is strange considering hacks like Mick Garris, they've had half a dozen cracks and fucked it up every single time.
Sleepwalkers, man. It's awesome. Sleepwalkers is awesome.
Sleepwalkers is shit. It's absolute shite.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
he makes dog dinner of every single time he tries to direct. But Wes Craven did have a hand in adapting a Stephen King story. Can you name the film? He's uncredited, but he had a hand in the screenplay.
Uncredited
Stephen King film.
Oh,
which one was it? Take a wild guess.
The Mangler.
Fucking, you're right. It's the Mangler.
No, isn't it? Holy shit! Hey, well done. Well done.
You win a picture frame. Pick which one you want.
I think it was because what's his name? Robert Englund had just finished New Nightmare, and that was his very next movie was The Mangler.
Right. Okay.
And I think he must have got Wes Craven's help with the script.
Once again, like I say, I didn't even know that thing existed until today. I
You're
really
gonna watch
didn't.
that tonight, aren't you, Dave? You're gonna watch that.
I'm going to watch it. Yeah.
About a possessed
I don't think I've seen it since it came out.
machine.
It takes that. I think there's
There's
still like
3 manga films.
tablets
Three
in
of
it. It's possessed or something.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, it's 3 manga films.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know? I did watch the. There's a new documentary just. Well, it boomed up on my IPTV service, so it'll be on the net now. But it's a Korea documentary about Robert Englund, and I watched that on Saturday night, and it was very, very good. I've always thought. Yeah, I've always thought that Robert Englund was. How can I put it? I've seen some interviews where he's quite arrogant there. And he's like, you know, I'm a bit theatre, that type of thing. And I've always kind of wondered about that. But I watched this documentary, and he was very, very humble. And I actually changed my perception about him. He seems to absolutely love the genre, the fans, and everything like that. So fair play.
Yeah. I know a couple of people that have actually met him at like Comic Cons and stuff, you know, like horror conventions. And they've all said he was an absolute sweetheart, to be honest with you. Like, I haven't heard a bad word about him, to be fair.
That's fantastic. Like, and he refers, you know, you see lots of photographs in this documentary and lots of things like that. And yeah, he loves it.
Yeah.
Elwood, what's wrong? What's wrong?
What's wrong?
You're on mute, Elwood. You muted yourself. You muted yourself, Elwood. Press the unmute button.
No, we can't hear you. You can.
No, trust me. It's on your side, Elwood. Yeah, it's you.
I don't think he's muted. Like, doesn't look like he's muted.
No, he's not muted.
That's weird. Did you mute Vass by accident?
No, you can see him on the screen. Can't be removed. Yeah, go out and go back in. Do you want me to knock him out? I'll knock him out and then come back in.
Reboot. You were like a corporation's IT guy there, mate. When in doubt, just restart. You know,
turn it on and off.
You're like that going. You're on $60,000 a year, right? Okay, man.
What happened there?
No idea.
I don't know. I'm here now, though.
Could you guys hear each other?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just you couldn't hear.
Strange, that, isn't it?
Maybe let's not talk about the mangler anymore. There might be cursed.
Could be the mangler.
Yeah, it just all went silent. Weird, silent hill. Right.
There you go.
There you go. We can hear you now, anyway.
Hear me now.
Hear you now.
Right, let's read through this article then.
All right.
I'll make it a bit bigger.
Oh, do you like me Poison t-shirt?
I like that, man.
I went online and I thought I'd get a movie t-shirt, but I couldn't find any. So I thought, Poison. But it is inspired by a movie.
Is
one
it?
of my favourite movies. Of course. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Okay.
Hot Tub Time Machine. Do you know what, right? I was watching one of my Stephen King things today, and they mentioned 1408, and all I could think of was Hot Tub Time Machine, man. It's fucking brilliant, Hot Tub Time Machine. Part 2 is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
shit.
Part 1 is awesome, like.
Great White Buffalo. Brilliant.
Great White Buffalo, man.
Great White Buffalo. Yeah.
Exactly. Fassi, at that point, you're supposed to say Great White Buffalo, man.
Right. I'm not familiar. I've watched it once. I've only watched it once. The first.
I love that movie.
I watched it hundreds of times.
So funny.
Great movie, man. Great movie.
Yeah.
That's how I got into Poison.
Isn't Chevy Chase in that film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should watch it again.
He's the hot tub engineer.
Yes.
Oh, God.
He's like the
Right,
doc.
let's go through these top 15 films. So at number 15, it's Cujo.
Yeah.
I forgot about Cujo.
14, it's... Did you not even read the article, dude? I sent it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Number 14 is It Chapter 2, which is strange. 13 is Gerald's Game.
What about Gerald's Game?
You like Gerald's Game? You can't like Gerald's Game. 12 is 15. 11 is Dr. Sleep.
I fucking fell asleep.
10 is The Green Mile.
Oh, that film made me cry my fucking eyes out.
Me
I
too.
love Green Mile. 9 is Salem Plot.
Love it.
8
Scared
is
the piss out of me as a kid.
yeah, totally, man, totally.
Yeah.
8 is It.
Yeah.
7 is The Dead Zone. 6 is Misery.
Yeah.
5 is The Mist. I don't
Oh,
know how's that
Yeah.
getting number 5. I don't know.
I don't know. One of the most heartbreaking endings of any movie, though.
Totally is.
The
Yeah.
Mist is
Yeah.
great.
You like The Mist?
Yeah, I do.
That's
Yeah.
It's great fucking film.
Why?
Yeah.
You say so.
You
Boy,
know what? If you ever get the opportunity, watch the black and white version of
Yeah,
The
there's a
Mist.
black and white
It's
version, isn't
Yeah,
there?
fucking brilliant. Like,
Black and white,
it's excellent. It really works.
3 is Carrie.
Yeah.
2 is Shawshank Redemption. And number 1 is, obviously, go on.
Shine.
The Shining, yeah.
The Shining. Yeah. I would probably have them the other way around, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, so come on, let's give our we've got some honorable mentions of before we do a top 10.
Yeah.
Let me get
Yeah.
to that. Go on. Shall I do mine
I've
first?
got one. Okay.
I can do yours first. I've got the list.
All right. Okay.
Oh.
My first honorable mention is Sometimes They Come Back.
Oh, how
A
well.
straight to video movie. A straight to video movie.
Are you kidding me?
Enough. But I like it. Man. It's something about that movie with
Jesus.
Robert Rustler in and all that, man. Straight out of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 and Vamp. Sometimes They Come Back. It gives me the feels, that movie. It gives me the feels. It's
Wasn't
like
there a
Stand By
Sometimes They Come
Me,
Back
but
Again?
nowhere near as good.
Sometimes they come back again.
Yeah, that was the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a third one. Sometimes they come back for more.
Have really good cover art. I'm sure I have good cover art. I'm sure I have really nice cover art.
Yeah.
I do. I have seen Sometimes They Come Back. I know I've
TV
seen
movie,
it,
isn't
but I remember nothing about it. Like absolutely silch. Like
No.
nothing.
I think it was directed by Tom McLaughlin, who directed Jason Lives.
Yeah, Jason Lives.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Pretty sure it
That's
was.
interesting. But was it set in like the 50s? Don't I remember like they're all in leather jackets and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That's where my knowledge starts and ends. Literally.
To be fair, that's
It was
all
a
you
long
need.
time ago.
That's all you need about that movie. Kid gets bullied, kid gets revenge.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait there. Actually, no. The bullies get revenge. Yeah, the bullies get revenge because sometimes they come back, Dave.
Again. Can't believe it.
And then again.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they come back for more.
No way.
That's the remake right there. Yeah.
Have you got any more, Pete? Honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions, Stephen King. No, well, let's do one each. While I think of
I'll
another.
do my first one. My first honorable mention is this one here. I'll just
Give you a lift.
The Running Man. That's my
Running
first
Man.
honorable mention.
Fair
It's
play.
cool.
I'll be back.
Yes.
Fair. Only in a rerun.
That's right.
Hey.
Sub-Zero. No, Plain Zero.
Totally.
Love it.
Totally.
Captain Freedom is one of the best characters in any movie ever. I don't care what anyone says.
Is that Jesse
Ventura? Yeah.
Jesse Ventura? It is. He's brilliant, like in that.
Yeah,
He's brilliant.
it's Captain Freedom workout. I've always wanted a VHS tape of that.
Fair play.
Yeah,
Go on, Elwood.
Oh, sorry.
Honorable
you
mention. So, like Creepshow and Creepshow 2, we can say them, can we?
As long as they're
If
not
it's
in
not in your top
15.
10. No, in top 10.
That might be in my top 10.
That's
Then you can't have it, can you? Because that's in your top 10, dude.
my
The top
word.
10 that I did sorted out ages ago.
Dave, mate, have you got any honorable mentions there?
I do. I do. I'll save you, Elwood. That's all right. I do. Right. So I've got two, and they're both it's, the original Pet Sematary and the remake that came out about 4 years ago. I wasn't. I'm not like. I'm not a huge fan of them movies anyway. So
Me
I
neither.
can just think of better Stephen King movies than them, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick between like the two Pet Semataries, surprisingly, I like the remake more
What?
than the original. Yeah, I did. Because, and I'll tell you why.
Prefers the remake. Stephen King prefers the remake as well, man.
I'll tell you why, and this
King's
is
a
the
fucking
main
retard.
reason. So I find it hard in horror movies when there's like child killers, especially when a kid's like about, how old was he supposed to be? 3 or 4 years? 3? Something like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's some scenes in there where that kid should get drop kicked down the hall and down the stairs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's not terrifying for
He's
me.
got a
I
high
just think to myself,
tiny.
oh, but then you just spin around, just give him a
Like,
back
look
kick.
in it,
he's gone.
behind.
No, a baseball bat to the head to that kid would have sorted everything out. I'm telling you, everything.
True, like.
Yeah,
do you know what? I have that same problem with Chucky.
Child's
I'm
play,
pretty sure.
exactly.
I'm pretty sure that I could fucking knock Chucky. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure that fucking 2.5 foot little puppet is not going to get the better of me. Like, you know,
I would
as
fancy
old
my
as they are.
chances. Yeah, I would fancy my chances if we were in a house and he cut out the electricity and locked every door, and it's just me and Chucky left in the house. I am strolling around the house super confident I am going to fuck Chucky up.
It's all.
So it's the same with Pet Sematary. The moment that kid even comes out with that little knife, he is getting punted right out the window. Without a second's thought.
Is that the girl gauge then? Girl gauge or the? Is it a girl?
Girl Gauge is in the remake.
It's in the remake, yeah.
So that's a girl.
Yeah, I thought the remake did it better in that kind of sense. You know what I mean? But it's been a while since I've seen them both, to be fair. So they're not fresh in
I
my
think
mind.
the remake had a better leading man with more charisma.
Yeah.
You know, and a bit more screen presence. You know,
Better actor.
which is ultimately the worst thing in the original Pet Sematary is, you know, this guy's got no charisma whatsoever.
I thought it was better made as well. I mean, if you're allowed to say that, and maybe that's come with time. Maybe, you know,
possibly. But Zelda on the original though, terrifying.
Zelda's the most scary fucking thing ever. And once there. I mean,
I mean, John Lithgow. I love him. He's brilliant, but he's no Herman Munster. He's no Herman Munster in that part. Like, I have to say, like, sometimes Dad is better. You've got to have a bit of that. Sometimes Dad is better.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But yeah, they're my 2 honourable mentions, mate. Yeah.
Have you got any more, Pete?
I got sidetracked. Yes, I do. I would have said The Running Man. And what else did I cardwash there? Let me see. Sometimes I will. Okay. I'm going to say honourable mentions. I'm going to say It.
Which one?
Both the original and the new
honourable
2
mention?
remake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, honourable mentions, man. You know, the TV show, as good as Tim Curry is, it's a Tim Curry show, and he's not in enough.
Kiss me, fat boy.
That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. It's all about Tim Curry, the original, and he's brilliant in it. But he's not in it enough. From 3 hours, he's literally in it like 20 minutes. And the rest, I have to say, as far as quality is debatable. The ending of It always has and always will suck. And the you know, even on the new versions, they didn't nail the ending there either. But to be honest with you, when the source material says it's a big spider and a fucking plectorial fucking demon or whatever, a space alien from different dimensions, what do you do with that? As a filmmaker, what do you do with that? You know, I've got no idea. I've got no idea how to land this ending. So I kind of liked part 1 of the new ones for the first 10 minutes. When Georgie got his arm ripped off, I thought this is going to be a great movie. And it never, you know, nothing was actually as good as that first 10 minutes of the movie for the next 3 hours.
I totally agree.
Oh,
Yeah, and then part two, I thought, I just didn't like it, man. To throw in a cheap, to throw in a cheap The Thing reference as well. I was like, oh, fuck you, man.
I like that, man. It's a good reference.
I never finished chapter 2.
It doesn't Evil Dead ones and Evil Dead Rise. Much better.
You still not finished it?
I still haven't finished it, mate. No, and I've got no real interest in going back to it. I've got to be honest.
No,
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
Don't blame you.
that's why people like
Don't
it.
blame you. Yeah. So I'm going to give it an honourable mention because I really like Tim Curry and I like little Georgie getting his arm ripped off in the first scene. And that's it. And that's it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Can we not have an honourable mention to Cat's Eye?
Yeah.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's in my honourable mention, actually.
Yeah.
Brilliant film, that, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
I've got a. Hang on, I've got a clip.
I can't even remember what the stories were.
Were you going to
Here
see
you
a clip?
Try this. Lion shithouse.
I love that.
Yeah. What was that called?
I love that. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, the ledge. Yeah.
The Ledge. There was the Stop Smoking with James Woods, and then there was the Drew Barrymore thing,
With the puppet thing.
Gremlin or whatever it was.
Gremlin, yeah.
Yeah, they're all really good now.
I know, I haven't seen that movie
I've got
for
cool
a long
references in that
time.
as well. Lots of cool references in Cat's Eye. The first 10, 15 minutes, like the Christine cars are there, and you see the Joe dog, all sorts of at the beginning. Very, very cool.
Christine pulls up, doesn't he? Yeah. Hey, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
It's a good honourable mention, mate. It was definitely better than Sometimes They Come Back. Well done, Ellen.
Yeah, just key stories. Right, my other honourable mention is this one. Let's have a look. Here we go.
Come on over here, sugar buns. This machine just called me an asshole.
Oh, asshole.
Maximum Overdrive. That's my other honourable mention.
Oh,
A good, fun film, man. It's fun. It's stupid. It's not scary, but I have a good time with that movie.
my mate absolutely loves that movie. Loves it, and I just.
What's not to love? What's not to love, mate?
I'll tell you who loved that movie the most. I'll tell you who loved that movie the most. Stephen King's Cocaine Dealer.
Yes.
He loved that movie. He had a great time when Stephen King was doing that movie, man. And Stephen King even says, he goes, I was on a lot of barbiturates at that point.
Yeah.
And it shows, man, that's completely fueled by cocaine.
I think it's the thing was it's just like killer vehicles, like killer trucks or cars. Just it's not my bag in horror. It just never has been. It just
machines.
machine.
Shoot coke.
It's not. It's just not. It's not my thing when it comes to horror. It's just isn't. It's like I can't. Yeah, because I'm going to surprise you all with this before we carry on. You are all going to be shocked by this, and I've got no intention to watch it. But this film will be in your top 10, maybe your top 3 of Stephen King. I've never watched Christine, and I've got no interest in it. I know. See, I've got, and even though how much I love John Carpenter,
use the mute button. Mute.
I just don't care.
No,
Fuck you.
Haram.
I love it, man. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's not focus on that.
Right. Okay. My last honorable mention was. I've got a clip. Hang on. I've got a clip.
I like the clips.
Is this what you've been doing all day, Bast?
Yeah. El would message me today and he goes, I can't get hold of Vass. Vass is just not answering me messages. Maybe he's getting prepared doing clips. And he was right. He was right, man.
I did my intro. I finished my intro literally an hour before we started the stream.
The wolf is loose.
It's the Dead Zone. That's my last one.
Oh, the Dead Zone.
Honorable mention.
I really like the Dead Zone, man. I like it.
Never seen it, so I don't know.
Really good film. Really
You've
good
not
film.
seen Dead Zone, dude?
No, mate.
Yeah.
There's honest to God, when I was trying to do this list, I already agreed because it's hard to say no too fast. I'm just like, I'm so glad you've asked me. Yes, of course I'll be on. And then when it really dawned on me, Stephen King, I'm like, I don't really have a fucking clue about Stephen King, to be honest with you. And I don't think I've seen like 15 of his movies. So
the guy's his own subgenre. Like it's the subgenre of Stephen King movies. That's like one of the horror subgenres is Stephen King.
I know.
Guys, I'm just gonna empty me back. All right, Gareth will know what I'm on about. But I'm just emptying me back.
See, see, I know. But yeah, no, I haven't seen. So this will be like a little bit of an education for me anyway, because there's a couple of like Stephen King movies that are on that list that I haven't seen. So I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to give them a go. Dead Zone's one of them. I'm surprised I've never seen it, to be honest.
All right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's like an emotional sort of movie, and it's creepy, and it's part like what is it, like psychic movie and part serial killer movie, and
yeah, because he touches people, doesn't he? He touches people, and then he knows what they're going to do.
And he knows what's going to happen to them. Or
He knows what's going to happen to people.
Right. Okay. And I mean, it's Christopher Walken as well. I mean, he's, you know, that's
he's
already
wicked
a good thing, isn't it?
I've seen someone on TikTok today do a brilliant Christopher Walken impression. He's got some voice in him, hasn't he, Christopher Walken?
Yeah,
Can you do a Christopher Walken impression, Bass?
I wish I could, man. I wish I could.
Oh.
Well, when I was watching the video, I was thinking, I wish I could do a Christopher Walken impression.
Yeah,
I do as well.
Cool.
I know, but he makes everything sound so intimidating, though, as well, doesn't he? Have you seen the one when he's reading like a nursery rhyme or something? It was on like some talk show, and it just, it's like, nah, man.
Scary, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like the Three Bears or something, I think it was.
You know what? Honestly, right? Genuinely, I believe if I could do a Christopher Walken accent, then actually I'd be fulfilled in life. Like I'd have no other fucking goals whatsoever in that. I've tried so many times, and it's just dreadful. Like
brilliant, isn't it? If you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Let's quickly crack on with some comments because I think I'm always getting behind. Let's have a look.
Wow.
Dave
there you go. There's my Christopher Walken impression. Wow. That's it. That's all I can do.
Amazing.
Wow. Hey. That's it.
Wow.
Hey. Wow.
You've done
it. There you go. But to speak full Christopher Walken would be amazing. Like.
I wonder if you could get him like downloaded to your sat nav or something like that, wouldn't you? That would be.
Oh, that would be amazing. We'd be like, hey, take the next left. Yes. I'll go left. I'll go left. That would be fucking brilliant.
I love it.
Dave says, I think Toby Hooper eventually directed the Mangler Part 1. He did. That was Toby Hooper.
I believe so.
Stepped out for sale. No. Jamie says, Poison rocks my socks.
You've rocked Jamie's socks, Elwood.
Glad I'm rocked his socks.
Dave says, Robert England even lived with Mark Hamill, I believe, and he talked him into going to an audition for Star Wars before anybody knew what it was.
I've heard that from Robert England interview, yeah.
That's cool.
Jamie says The Shining isn't even a proper adaptation.
Ooh.
It's true though.
It is true, but maybe it's better for that.
Yes, I agree.
Dave says, I'm 53 now. It is my mother, her girlfriend told her, if you like crime thrillers, go see The Shining. So my mother took me just go see The Shining in theaters. That's one of my earliest memories as a kid. Was driving in the back of a car in 1980 when I was 4 years old and seeing the Shining poster, and I still remember it like now, like 40-something years later.
Stunning artwork.
I remember
it's just a striking image. Like, but I'm just saying that, Dave, read between the lines, Dave. When your parents take you to see The Shining as a small child, which essentially is about a fucking dad looking to kill his own kids, like, you know, read between the lines, right, man. Exit, you know. Divorce them parents, man. Get the fuck out of there, man. They showing you that shit for a reason.
I think he's trying to tell you something.
I'm only joking, Dave. I'm only joking.
Just make his guys quick at that. Sorry.
Dave says, so it gets up to the part where Scapman Crothers returns to the hotel and my mother wanted to leave. Come on, Dave, let's go. But luckily I was able to talk into staying and we watched the rest of it.
Sound.
Nice.
Jamie says, Dave can borrow my bat to fight Gage.
Yeah.
Dave says, my honorable mention is Christine. I even got to see that in theatres for free, thanks to a projectionist friend. Plus, I nominate Cat's Eye, which I paid for and liked in theatres.
I remember liking when I first watched. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Been a while since I've seen Cat's Eye as well.
I do remember liking.
Jamie says, Zelda is nightmare fuel for life.
Oh, Zelda is nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Dave says, they'll be covered in a previous stream. I like Maximum Overdrive. Pretty much it was okay. I got to see that in theatres with a friend and paid for it.
Jesus Christ.
I like The Running Man.
If I went to cinema to see that.
Then Stand By Me was kind of good too. Plus, I absolutely love Creepshow, and I got to see it for free in theaters.
Okay.
I guess in my case, it is basically my top 10 that I'm mentioning instead of honorable mentions. Yeah, and of course, I did like Creepshow 2 and The Dead Zone, which I read the book of too. Jamie says, "I demand you see Christine, Dave." Lol.
Well, I'm sorry to let you down, Jamie.
No way.
It's not going to happen. I'll do a watch party with someone. That's the only way I'd do it.
I've got a Christine clip. Let me just play it.
Okay. Show me.
Oh, awesome music.
You know what, Dave? Right, even if you don't like the subject matter of the movie,
Mhm.
which I have to say it will hook you. You know, apart from its really shitty ending, it does have a shitty ending. The score by John Carpenter is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that goes
I mean,
without
it really
saying.
is.
Did the score as well, did he?
Yeah. Write the theme tunes in the.
Sing the theme tune.
I don't have to tell either.
He used to do
Yeah.
that a lot with his movies, didn't he? He's done the soundtrack to like the score to a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to see John Carpenter. He was at the Usher Hall in Edinburgh, and he was just there with his son Cody on a keyboard, fucking doing
that
all
would
of
have
his
been
tunes.
awesome, man.
I mean, it was amazing. He had a big screen behind him, and it would be like
Wait,
showing
please
pictures
tell
of
me.
the films.
Please tell me he sung that Big Trouble in Little China song.
Didn't.
No?
He didn't. I was
Oh.
expecting that, to be fair. I was
Broke my
expecting
heart.
that. Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah.
Greatest song ever.
Is that
Yeah.
how it goes?
I didn't. Yeah, he didn't do that. But I have to say, you know, I never met the guy or anything like that because he was always been there. I bought a load of merch, but it was just one of the best experiences. Just to even be in the same fucking room as this guy, like
I can imagine.
phenomenal. Like, but what is obvious to me is he gets more out of his music than he does his movie making these days, you know. And to be fair play to him, you know.
Yeah.
He doesn't. But I hear that he's directed something that's coming soon. And
It's a TV show, isn't it? Something for
what?
TV.
yeah, something
Was
for
it something
TV.
for TV?
And he directed it online. He was basically sat in his fucking Zoom camera because obviously we all know John Carpenter doesn't like to get off his sofa these days. But someone offered him money and he loves money. So he basically fucking directed it on FaceTime. So fucking they would turn the screen round to the actors and go, "Hey, he's your director." And John Carpenter go, "Yeah, stand over there." And he was like, "What, my left or your left?" And yeah, exactly. So he's directed something on FaceTime. So we'll see what that turns out like. Yeah,
Let's hope it doesn't turn out like Ghost of Mars, and we'll be all right.
that'd be nice. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was going to
Right, let's get on with our top 10 in earnest. Come on. Shall I do my number 10?
Yeah, you crack on.
Do number 2.
Yeah, my number 10 is Silver Bullet from 1980.
Oh,
Bye.
good shout.
I love Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
Aye, I know. That's criminal. That's
haven't
criminal.
seen
What's
that.
criminal?
Being at number 10.
Yeah, it's not even on the list for the Empire Online. Didn't get on the
No.
list.
Empire.
What did Empire know anyway? You know what I mean? What did Empire know anyway? It's, you know, it's,
That's one
Yeah.
I need to watch alongside Dead Zone. To let you know, I've never seen it. I know Gary Busey's in it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
it's
cool,
so
isn't
many quotable lines. So many quotable lines, Dave. That's all I'm saying.
It's definitely before he went nuts, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
just before. Although he is very bonkers in this film, like, to be fair.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know. Silver Bullet's one of the best werewolf films I've ever seen. And it's
There's
a
not many
film
good
that
ones. There's not many good ones.
yeah, there's not many
Hardest-
good ones, but it's a movie that I've maybe seen 20 times since it's come out, and I will always go back and watch it again because every time I watch it, I get the feels and I love it. I have to say, I love it. I have a really
It's got good atmosphere, but I lose his points because the werewolf's rubbish.
Have you got it on DVD, like, fellas?
I have.
Oh, yeah?
I've got a Blu-ray. Got a Blu-ray.
Fred Savage in that. Wonder Years.
No, Corey Haim, man. Corey Haim.
Was it?
Yeah. Corey
On a
Haim's in it,
motorised,
man. He played. Yeah, he's
wheelchair.
disabled, isn't he? He can't walk, so he has the motorised. Oh, well.
Savage was in that. Oh, it's been a
Elwood.
while.
all I remember, I would honestly, right, I remember when this came out, right? You had the novelette, the graphic novelette of Cycle of the Werewolf, which is what
Cycle of
it's
the
based on.
Werewolf,
And I remember you showed me, and it was amazing. Do you know, mate? Right from 30 odd years ago, that was. I have searched every fucking bookstore, and nobody has the novelette of Cycle of the Werewolf. You just can't get it apart from eBay, where it's like £100.
I
And that,
know,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's in your allotment. If it's
It
in your
might-
allotment,
It might
sell
be.
it to me for 50.
I'll swap you.
Making deals. Making deals.
Yes.
Elwood, I think you get £700 off him.
Probably.
But yeah,
probably.
Silver Bullet, that's on the list. But I have actually heard good things about that, to be fair. So
Really
that is
good,
one I
really.
do need to watch. Yeah. So that's on the list. So I got Dead Zone and Silver
What's your
Bullet.
number 10, Pete?
My number 10 is Creepshow. Because
Way down number 10.
Yeah. But there's some good stuff on this list, mate. There's some good stuff on this list. But yeah, Creepshow. Creepshow is a really good movie. It's one of them things that it's one of them movies that you'll watch constantly over the course of your life. You'll revisit it, that kind of thing. There's loads of one-liners in it, and there's stuff that never gets old. You know what I mean? I love it. Yeah, it's a great movie. Absolutely great movie.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's
classic.
yeah.
Elwood?
Yeah.
I'm just putting mine in order.
All right, go on then, Dave.
Okay, right. So I just want to say about that Creepshow as well. I think it's the Ted Danson one with Leslie Nielsen in. That end shot where the two zombies go into. I remember that as a kid, man, and that VHS just got turned off there. I'm like, nope, I can't watch it anymore. That always sticks in my mind. That scene from Creepshow for some reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the cockroach bit is just fucking unbelievably disgusting. I mean, I think I saw it when I was maybe 11, 12 or something like that. My father rented it on VHS from the video man.
From the
video van. And I watched it, and I loved the crate. The crate is the one that's a crowd pleaser. It stands out because it is definitely a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
The underappreciated classic is definitely the Ted Danson segment.
And Leslie Nielsen is really good in that as well. Like he's a horrible bastard.
He's a bastard in that one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bastard. He's a bastard, man. But it's the cockroach bit, man. The cockroach bit is just so disgusting. It's and technically brilliant as well. I have to say, it's technically brilliant. It looks like you're watching some kind of a special effects extravaganza, and that, but really, it's a room with a dummy and a shitload of cockroaches, and it's fucking horrendous. Like it comes out of the throat. It doesn't even come out the mouth. It comes out the throat. And you're like that one. What the fuck? And it's a 15. This movie's a 15, man. You know what I mean? It's nuts. Anyway, but yeah, great movie.
Yeah. My number 10 is The Mist. Is my number 10.
Okay.
The Mist.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, mate, to be honest with you. But it's one of them for me. I did really enjoy it. I really did like the movie. But it's one of them for me is once is enough. I don't need to watch it again. It's I always
downer, isn't it?
Oh, that ending honestly, just put me. I remember when I watched it, and then I was on a downer for about fucking 3-4 hours afterwards. I was just like, man, I need to start watching some Family Guy or something just to kind of, get a bit of comedy in my life. But it's extremely well acted. I think Thomas Jane is really, really good in it.
Yes.
And like I say, that ending sticks with you long after the movie's over. It really does. I mean, sometimes I like to kind of put myself in certain characters' shoes in movies and kind of think, man, what would I have done, or how would I feel at that moment? And it's one of the rare instances where at the end of that movie, man, I generally could not imagine what he must have been going through at that moment at the end of that movie. It's horrific. And it is a real downer of an ending, but I really do enjoy the movie. And I think the ending, I'm not going to say it's perfect for it, but it's, it works for what the movie was.
Absolutely. And I do believe from the source material, the ending is different. I don't think that happened in the Stephen King novel or whatever it was, or whether it was a novelette. And from what I hear, Stephen King absolutely adores that ending. Like he said, you know, Frank Darabont, you've actually made this better. He doesn't. Well, he does these days, Pierre. You know, he loves every movie that he fucking sees, Stephen King, these days. But back in the day, he was very critical. And but yeah, he loves that ending for sure.
Yeah, well, he's getting a nice paycheck now with every movie, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna love them all. And
Elwood, have you got one yet, Elwood? Come on,
I
you must
think
have one
I
now.
need one of
Number
those
10.
iPhone things so I can just do me list like that and swipe in space and stuff.
Oh, the new iPhone VR thing.
Yeah,
That would be good. Like that would be good. $5,000 though, mate. $5,000.
yeah, but they look beautiful, don't they?
They do look beautiful. I'd have to say a game changer, by the way. The fucking internet and everything is going to change in the next couple of years because iPhone don't launch products that aren't successful. It's as simple as that.
No. Made with all the best everything. It looks gorgeous.
Anyway, number 10.
I'll put Running Man at number 10.
Okay.
fair enough, yeah.
Good one, mate.
Tell us why you like the Running Man, Elwood.
Because of that one line.
Scott's here. Hi, mate.
How you doing, Scott?
Should we do it again? I'll be back.
Only a rerun.
Yes, that's the only reason I like it.
Feather.
Killian. Right, okay. Right, number 9. My number 9 is Creepshow. That's my number 9.
Why do you like Creepshow, Vass?
I like it because I think it's got a lot of nostalgia. It used to be one of my favorite movies, and it's a very strong anthology. And there's not many of those that have nearly everyone's just awesome. And most anthologies, like a couple of them, be really good. Like my favorite one's Twilight Zone the movie, but to be honest, I only love the last one on the plane and the wraparound. That one there. Those are the two that really stand out for me.
What about Kick the Can?
Kick the can.
You know what? Honestly, Vasi, what I would recommend is you go on a bender for a couple of days, right? And then once you've sobered up, put the Twilight Zone on, and then watch the Kick the Can segment. And I guarantee you'll cry like a fucking baby, man, because that's exactly what happened to me. I cried like a baby, man. I'd been out in the drink for like 3 days or something like that, and then I was like, oh. Comfort movie, Twilight Zone, Kick the Can, never appreciated it ever before in my life, watched it, cried like a little bitch. Anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's same with Creepshow. I reckon it's there's not one of them I don't like. Some I like more than others, but yeah, they're all just really good. So
how about the
consistency quality? What I like about
that.
And it's very comic booky as well. It's done really well. Right? The little comic book, little touches they have. I like all those, and it's tons better than the TV show.
TV show is shocking.
I haven't watched any of the TV show yet, so I've stayed away from it. I haven't. It's not very good.
It starts off strong in the first couple of episodes, but then it's just
garbage.
Totally. Absolutely.
What's your number 9, Pete?
My number 9 is The Mist. My number 9 is The Mist. For very much the same reasons that Dave said there. I think it's it's a 3-hour movie, and it never feels like you're watching a 3-hour movie. Like I say, I'm a big fan of the black and white cut of this film as well. It feels like you're watching a Sunday matinee horror monster movie. But it's also something different as well, you know, and it's because of that ending. It's, you know, absolutely because of that ending. That ending is the gut punch of gut punches to a movie. You know, I liken it to I'm a big fan of the novel I Am Legend, and there's two sections in that movie, and I won't spoil the novel for anybody, but there's one chapter that just ends and it just says a week later the dog was dead. Boom, gut punch. And then the last 3 words of the novel are I Am Legend. boom, gut punch. You realize why this book that you're reading is called I Am Legend, and it punches you in the guts. This ending of this movie has that same kind of gut punch. It's risky as fuck, and I can imagine them putting that in test screenings, and the audience is coming out saying you need to change that, and the studio's going, you need to change that, you need to change that. But you just like they did for the ending of Seven. You know, you need to change that, you need to change that, you need to change that. And fair play to Frank Darabont for saying, touch my ending and I'll fuck you up. You know, because it's perfect. Like it is perfect. It's a great film. Thomas Jane, that's kind of fallen into DVD bargain bin obscurity as of late. It's a shame because he's a really talented actor.
He was a good leading man in his day, like he was.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And I really like the fact that he's an artist as well, doing movie posters. And at the start of the movie, he's doing the Thing movie poster, and that there's the big thing that I think Drew, the guy who did the Indiana Jones posters, Drew Stevenson, did as well. That's there as well. But I really like it. It's a horror movie / monster movie that's done with a lot of love and a lot of care for the genre. Very much harken back to the days of Sunday matinee movies, like It Came from the Desert and all that kind of stuff. Love it.
Nice.
You're saying that It Came from the Desert movie?
Well, I remember the Amiga game, but I've not seen the movie, mate. I think I watched the first 5 minutes and I went, "Oh, this is,
it's really."
I'll stick with the Amiga game. It's better.
I watched it all. I thought it's really low budget, but
was it? Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh,
the game,
game's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Dave, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is The Running Man. Basically, what we touched on before, man. I love 80s Arnie's movies, and The Running Man is like right up there for me. And I never actually realised that Stephen King had actually anything to do with this movie.
No, yeah.
At all. Like, I mean, did he write the book originally? Is it like it's his story?
It's a short story, I believe.
Yeah.
So
it's a short story, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love The Running Man anyway? And it
Empire Line doesn't love it. It wasn't even in the top 15.
I know. That's terrible. That's terrible. But yeah, The Running Man is my number 9.
Cool. Elwood?
Oh, I've got Cat's Eye at my number 9.
Nice.
Talked about.
Nice.
Right, my number 8.
Are you writing all these down, Vass? Are you writing all these?
You've got written down. Well, I don't need writing down, do I?
You might want to put.
I've got
something
it's
like
all on video.
Elwood,
it's all on video. It's recorded. You don't have to write shit down.
You want to put up like the stats. Do you know what I mean? It's insane.
Pepper.
See what
you mean at the end, like whose top 10 is better?
Yes.
Bought. Yeah, do that shit.
You can just read them, isn't it? Just read them out at the end, and then we'll see. Okay. Mine's the best. So. My number 8 is Christine. Is my number 8, which is what's that look for, Elwood?
8.
Too high, too low. I can't work it out.
It's a bit too low. 8. I would have a lot higher. Well, I have got it a lot higher. So.
I think it's about Christine. I love the music. I love the atmosphere. It's not a scary movie at all, and it's all a bit silly. But for what it is, it's done really, really well, and there's lots to like with it. But yeah, and like Peter said, the ending is not so great.
I think
it's super watchable. But like The Mist, you can watch Christine like every week, and you still enjoy it. I mean, The Mist, I've had no reason to go back and think, I feel like watching The Mist today. Yeah. That's never happened. Never happened. But Christine, I can watch it anytime. I wouldn't mind and have a good time.
Yeah.
Fair play. I think I've got a funny feeling that The Mist. If Christine is in any other person's hands apart from John Carpenter, it's probably not going to work. That's my feeling on it. You know, you look at the adaptations that were coming out around about the time, like Firestarter and stuff like that, and they didn't work, even though they had their charms or whatever. They really didn't work. Where Well, I think Christine, you've got a filmmaker there trying to prove a point. He was just coming off the back of the flop that was The Thing at that point, and he was actually kicked off Firestarter. He was supposed to direct Firestarter, and they kicked him off it. Columbia Pictures offered him Christine, and he went, it's a Stephen King movie, so I'll take that one to prove a point. So he's in full flow, but he didn't know how to land the ending, unfortunately.
I don't think anyone could have made a better Christine than John Carpenter did. Like what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
What's
not as good as the movie could have been. With John Carpenter.
Yeah. Was it a hit when it came out? Did it do well?
I think it did all right.
Yeah.
I think it did all right.
It's always hard to say with John Carpenter because the films that you look back on and you think, I bet you that killed it at the box office, and then you find out no one bothered to go and watch it.
I don't think it had many big hits.
Yeah,
not at all. No, I mean, ultimately, if John Carpenter, let's be honest with ourselves, John Carpenter never recovered by the absolute devastation. The guy was raked over the coals for The Thing. He was called a pornographer of cinema at the time. It was a flop. Every critic pretty much on the planet said it was a fucking bomb. It was pornography. It was torture porn is pretty much what they were saying, the equivalent that we've said. Absolutely. And he never recovered from that.
Isn't Starman like the anti The Thing? Starman.
Yeah, well, he did a movie. He did Starman, and to my discredit, I've never seen Starman, and I really need to sort that out. But he did Starman almost to say, well, I can do an E.T. movie because E.T. killed The Thing. Because everybody, a month prior to The Thing coming out, everybody they were in love with friendly alien movies. And then a month later, John Carpenter comes out with this movie that will fucking tear you out from the inside, blah, 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 blah. And everyone was like, oh, no. We want aliens where the finger lights up and they talk and, they're very friendly and all this, blah, 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 blah. It was the worst scheduling ever, and considering that both movies were from Universal, they really fucking should have known better. To be fair, but yeah, he felt that Hollywood crucified him, and he felt that the critics crucified him. And to be fair, they did. He's absolutely right, because as we all know now, The Thing is probably not one of the best sci-fi movies ever made, or one of the best horror movies ever made. It's one of the best movies ever made. Period.
Agreed.
Period. And they crucified him for it. It's fucked. So after that point, he would and that's why you see movies like Ghosts of Mars and stuff like that, because if you talk to the cast of Ghosts of Mars, they will tell you when John Carpenter was on set, he would literally, his direction was, it's going to be fucking shit anyway, let's do what the fuck we want. And that was the way. Every now and then they throw him an olive branch, and I think Big Trouble in Little China was one of those olive branches that they threw him, and that bombed too, because they didn't know how to market it. Is it a studio fucked that up, mate? Movie? Is it an Indiana Jones movie? What kind of movie is this? They didn't know. It came out to fairly low fanfare. Nobody knew about it. The thing is that baffles me with that, though, is I think nowadays you could make a trouble like Big Trouble in Little China. It's not hard to market. I don't get that. I don't understand how they're like, well, how are we going to market this? Very fucking easy. Now we market movies like that very easily. We market that as a good time at the movies, a popcorn flick. Go enjoy yourself. Turn your brain off. You're going to fucking love it. John Wick is all about that.
Your selling point in that movie is Kurt Russell playing Jack Burton as an idiot. Sell it around that.
Totally. Totally. What's his name when he turns up to that hooker's place? He goes, "I'm so." He goes, "So and so is my name, and excitement is my game." It's fucking brilliant, man. It's fucking brilliant.
I should know that off the top of my head because I've seen that film so many times. But
no, it's great. I think Hollywood's every now and then they've extended him a couple of olive branches, but John Carpenter is at its best when studios leave him the fuck alone, hence Prince of Darkness, hence all these little films where they just leave him the fuck alone, give him $2 million. If I won the lottery tomorrow and I won 100 million, I'd phone John Carpenter up and say, listen, John, I'll go and give you $3 million, go away and do me a nice, serious horror movie and put your heart and soul into it. You know, I want to watch it because, and everyone
I
wants.
think you want more than 3 mil. I'm sure you asked for a lot more than 3 mil.
He'd want 3 million to get off the sofa these days, man. But he was better when he had, you know, lower budgets. Although I have to say, you know, obviously, The Thing is a massive exception to that, and so's In the Mouth of Madness as well. And you know, when he does things with bigger budgets, they're still great movies. But John Carpenter's movies never appeal to the masses, to the majority of the crowd. Where Chris Nolan will put The Dark Knight out and all that, you can pretty much give that guy 200 million and and say make a Batman movie, and pretty much 98% of the population of the world will actually go and see that movie. With John Carpenter as a studio, you're always taking a risk because he's a little bit unhinged as well, and he didn't do himself any favors also.
Peter.
Yeah.
It's a Stephen King fucking top.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. You're right. You're right.
What's your number 8?
You're right. Sorry, Stephen King. Sorry.
What's your number 8?
Well, my number 8. Holy shit.
Yeah. Mine was Christie. Which is how we got into John Carpenter.
Okay, mine's Stand By Me. Number 8. Stand By Me, number 8.
Okay, that's quite low.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, listen. There's so many good Stephen King. There's so many bad. Don't get me wrong, but there's so many good. So Stand By Me is my number 8. It's a well-made movie, I think, by Rob Reiner, but not his best Stephen King adaptation, may I say. But it's still very, very good. You really buy into the characters of this movie. It's heartfelt. Kiefer Sutherland is a motherfucker in this movie. When I was a teenager, I fucking hated Kiefer Sutherland in this movie, man. He's the absolute epitome of a bully in this movie. He's a proper villain, and it's better than anything that showed up in the It. The bully character in It. Kiefer Sutherland is the epitome of that very same character that's in this movie. It's just a journey, this movie. You can watch it and lose, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just, you do it most of the time with a smile on your face, most of the time with, remembering your adolescence. A lot of hard. Most of the time remembering your friends that you had when you were 12-year-olds, when you were a kid, and the adventures that you would go on, and that let's go stick fighting and shit like that with ninjas and all that bit. You know what I mean? It absolutely brings you back to all that. And from what I gather about this movie is, I think it's semi-autobiographical on part of Stephen King. The only thing that is fictional is the body. There was no body, but these were the kind of trips that they got onto, and apparently the train thing happened and everything else happened, but there was no body. They weren't searching for a body. But the body hook to this story just elevates it to something a little bit different than a normal coming-of-age movie like Dazed and Confused and stuff like that, which is, equally captures, what it's like to be young and fucking stupid and stuff like that. I love Stand By Me. It's a great movie.
But you've got that number 8.
Yeah, because, like I said, there's so many good films in this list, mate. There's so many good films.
I'm good.
What's your 8, Elwood?
My 8's The Mist.
Is it?
Which I didn't
Why is
realise.
it so high, man? I don't understand.
3 hours. Is it really on for 3 hours?
It's really on for 3 hours. So it is.
Yeah, it's close by, yeah.
When I was watching it.
Well, that's a good thing, though. That's a sign of a good movie, that, a 3-hour movie. I have to say, I recently watched, I went to cinema to watch John Wick 4. And
I wouldn't have done that.
everybody loves John Wick 4. Everybody loves John Wick 4. I didn't care for the first hour and a half of this movie. Like, for me, it didn't get going until they went to the fucking roundabout in Paris. And then it truly felt like a John Wick movie. Like, but, I thought, yeah, I mean, 3 hours for a John Wick movie. I was like, this is Long Wick 4. This is what this is. It's Long Wick 4. Like, it was a long ass movie. Like,
Peter wasn't long enough.
It says 2 hours 5 minutes here, guys. It says 2 hours 5 minutes. The Mist.
is it?
That's what it says.
I thought it was
2 hours 5 minutes. I thought it was 3 hours, mate. I don't think that's right.
What did it get on Internet Movie Database? What did it get? 7.1. Bloody hell, that's high, isn't it?
That's
Is
high,
it the like a director's cut come out that might have made it longer?
I don't know.
Hang on, let me have a quick note because I've got on DVD here. I'll see what it says.
It's 2 hours 6 minutes on the
On the what, Vass?
IMDb.
Yeah, on the which must be something like, I don't know, YouTubey or something. I don't really understand.
I must have got that wrong then, I guess. But I thought it was on for 3 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours. So we were chatting shit, Pete.
Shit. Just ignore me. Just ignore me. Quite a short movie, and that's what I like about it. It's running time just flashed over. It felt like a 2 hour movie.
TV show. Did you watch the TV show? The Miss TV
Oh,
show?
Missed. Yeah, I did. It was fucking shit. It was.
Yeah, I didn't bother.
Nah, you made the right call there, man. You made the right call.
Yeah.
What's your number 8, Dave?
My number 8, mate, is It from 1990. Just purely for the fact that it's just nostalgia for me. I remember watching this as a kid, when I was 10, 11, and Tim Curry as Pennywise just, yeah, there he is.
Come on.
Just haunted.
He crushed it like he was crushed it.
Yeah, he was just, yeah, he scared the living piss out of me when I was a kid. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
yeah.
So, and then I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and then I didn't have a fear of clowns anymore. But for a little while, I did, and that was all because of Tim Curry. I mean, we can all be honest and say it hasn't aged well at all. You know, there's a lot wrong with it. It's too long. Like we've touched on before, the ending is bad. But Tim Curry absolutely steals that movie in the small screen time that he has. And like I say, it's just a nostalgic thing for me that I have it at number 8. I think it was one of the first Stephen King kind of adaptations I watched as well. So, yeah, I'll have that as number 8.
Cool. Right, my number 7 is It, 1990.
Okay, cool, yeah.
I think it's brilliant. I think it shows how good the movie is. That Tim Curry's Pete says in for 20 minutes out of 3 hours, and it's iconic.
Steals
for them 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and I don't think the ending's that bad. I think the ending of the new one is worse than the ending on the 1991.
Right. Okay.
Seriously, it's literally like 10 minutes at the end of a 3 hour movie.
But it's a big ass plastic Spider-Man.
It doesn't feel like it's too long to me. I think it goes by pretty well. And the first half is really, really good. And the second half has plenty of memorable little scenes in there. I think Pennywise in it a bit more in the second half than the first half. So I love it. I absolutely adore it.
Yeah.
Did you guys know there's an Indian version of It? Because I didn't know. Oh, here's a little story. Here's a little story for you. When I got married in Pakistan, I went to a video shop.
I didn't know that.
I did, yeah. I went to a video shop, and the video shop, everything in there was bootlegs. There was not one original copy of a movie. So I bought loads of movies, and one of the movies I bought was this actual copy. This is back in 2005, I think, or 2006. And so a few years later, I watched it with the wife, and she said, "Oh, there was an Indian version. I've seen this movie before. It's an Indian version." And I looked it up, and so it's called WOH. I think it's pronounced Vo, which means it.
Was it?
And
is it pronounced?
It's a 50
wow.
Wow. It's a 52-part serial. It's a 52-part serial.
What?
It's the story of it. And do you want to see what Pennywise looks like in the Indian version?
Oh, please.
Yes, I
Let's
do.
have
Yes.
It's not very scary. So it's not a Bollywood film. It's a TV series, and obviously I don't think the budget was very, very high. And so just note.
Is it like Ronald McDonald shit?
Pretty much. But note that Georgie, right? He dies in episode 3, which is literally like an hour into like 3 episodes in. That's like an hour into it. Georgie dies. That's how stretched out the story is. And apparently, because of the town where they filmed it, they didn't have any drains, so they couldn't film it in a drain. So they did it in a swimming pool instead. So Pennywise, he pees in a swimming pool. So apparently, it's a big hit. It was a hit show. If you see an Indian person, ask them if they're quite old, like my age. Ask them. Do you remember the It TV show from India? And I'm sure they'll remember it because apparently it was a big hit. Like,
No,
it was very, like, memorable.
I'll
show
Let me
you
see it, man.
Pennywise.
Let me see it.
Have a look at Pennywise. I'll see if this plays all right. Can you see that on the screen yet? Oh, is that not sharing? Oh, share.
Can't see shit. Okay.
Can you see that? Right. Okay. Let me just
Right,
play.
go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Here you go. That's Georgie there, by the way. That's Georgie.
Hey,
I think he's called. He's called like Sanjeet or something in the movie, but he's Georgie basically.
Yeah.
And
He's
he's
got good
just
hair. Good, I
he's
like
just
it.
got his little paper boat in the swimming pool, and then he disappears in the swimming. Indian.
Don't stop it there, mate.
52 episodes. If you want to watch them, Matt.
What happened?
Oh my god.
52 episodes. 52 episodes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So
That's
apparently,
like
some of the
every
scenes
week
are like
they
carbon copies of the 1990 version. Some of the scenes are like totally carbon copies of it.
So does Stephen King
the
get
toilet.
royalties from?
I don't think they even told him about it. He probably, if he's watching this now, he's probably just thinking, "Wait a second, oh my lawyer."
You would have every right to as well. Christ.
So Elwood, what was your number 7?
Well, I accidentally totally forgot to put it in my top 10. So my
Put
number
it in there
7.
if you think it.
Yeah, if I had more time to do it, it would have been in there. The original, not the shitty
Yeah.
remake.
To be
But,
fair, you had about a week, but never mind.
Yeah. Carrie, number 7.
Not enough time in the world. What was that, mate? Carrie.
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 Oh, right, nice. Carrie's good. I like Carrie.
Yeah.
Didn't make me top 10, but I do like Carrie.
All the split scenes at the end. Awesome.
Oh yeah, that is cool. Like, yeah.
It is pretty cool.
It's got one of the best jump scare endings as well.
Yeah, and that's got the hand at the
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about jump scare endings, they only ever work once.
That's true.
Like Friday the 13th, only works once.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the beauty of jump scare endings is you introduce them to your friends or your family or your kids or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and you
true.
sit there and you just watch them. I think the second best experience, I think I'd probably had the first one was watching Jaws, but the second best Jaws experience I ever had was introducing my children at a very young age, probably maybe a little bit too young, to Jaws, and just looking at the absolute horror on their faces when that fucking head pops up and yeah.
Look, honestly,
The
when it happens now, I'm like that.
Yeah, me too. But terror, it's terrifying. But introducing the beauty of having kids, and the best thing about having kids is
scare the living shit out of them.
you get to relive your childhood again. Everything that you thought was cool and it scared the shit out of you in childhood, you go, oh, watch this movie with us and see what you think.
Yeah, well, Jake's just started watching. I sent him because he's been off work, so because he's just started. He's 17. So I sent him all the old action movies, all the old Nicolas Cage movies. So I sent him like The Rock. I said, watch The Rock, watch Face Off.
Love The Rock.
Watch
Nice.
Last Boy Scout. You can watch that. You can watch Con Air. Watch Con Air first. And I told him watch all these. And he's loving it. The Speed.
He's loving
it. Speed. Yeah. And then he liked it that much. He watched Speed 2. I didn't even tell him watch Speed 2. But
Don't watch Speed. Yeah, it's all right.
He was
Skip that one.
He totally loved them all. Like.
Exactly
Yeah,
my point. Exactly my point.
My number 7 is It Chapter 1, like the remake. It's my number 7.
Oh, okay.
I had a really good time with it. I know it gets some hate.
I really like it too.
Yeah, I know it gets some hate of people, but I really, really enjoyed it. Like the only thing I thought was weak in it, and I'm I'm in the minority on this one, and I completely understand it. I think if you had Tim Curry's Pennywise in the remake, would have made it a lot better. And what I mean by that is, I think Pennywise in the remake, as good as he was, don't get me wrong, he wasn't Tim Curry, man. And I know it wasn't supposed to be like the same. Tim Curry did it differently, but I just felt like Pennywise just needed a bit more.
He's not scary.
Yeah, basically, yeah, he's not. Whereas Tim Curry was terrifying.
The Scooby-Doo voice is not very scary, is it?
Yeah. And
Georgie? Yeah, voice, man. Up with his voice. Yeah. Exactly. Go, ooh, Georgie, ooh, Georgie boo.
Yeah.
Georgie,
do you want your boat? Do you want your boat, Georgie?
Exactly.
You know, it's you know, I thought he did a decent job. I'm not going to say that he didn't, because I thought he did, but to me,
that dance is comical, man.
Yeah. The new Pennywise was the weakest point of the remake. I liked everything else. I thought the kids were great. Like, and I must admit, like, you know, there were funny moments in that movie as well, and I quite liked it. But I just overall, I thought it was solid. It's a hell of a lot better than Chapter 2, in my opinion. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't even finished Chapter 2.
Definitely grown on me. I remember when Chapter 1 came out, I saw it at the cinema, and I wasn't a fan of it. I think I liked the original so much, and everyone was like, just saying how brilliant it was. All the reviews were saying, "Oh, it's so good," and the guy that plays Pennywise, he's so amazing. And then I watched it I must have watched it 4 times, and then I kind of got into it. I kind of liked it. Every time I liked it a bit more.
I like it when you rewatch it.
Film, people saying it's shit all of a sudden, and that gets on my nerves.
But I like when you rewatch it as well, you can notice things in the background of that movie where like Pennywise is hovering around, but he's like when that creepy old woman is just staring at the kid in the back of the library. You know, when the kid's reading the book, if you look at the back, there's just this the creepy like old librarian's just looking at the kid with like that horrible grin on the face. And like, honestly, God, if you rewatch it, you just catch little things in the background that is just subtly put there. You've got to have like rewatches of it, you know. But
I think I'll definitely rewatch it, like, because
there's little subtle moments throughout it. I only found that out because I went on YouTube and someone put like a load of clips together. And I was like, I never noticed that before. So then I rewatched it, and then I'm like, it's all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a good time with Chapter 1.
I'll have to
really did.
Definitely rewatch that because I just fucking totally dissed it.
I'll rewatch it as well.
Tim Curry.
I've never seen that shit.
I'll be able to beat him up. Clown. Not even scary. Fuck off. So I was like,
to be fair, do you know what? With the It films, what doesn't work for me, well, it works more when they're kids, but certainly when they're adults, you're just like, I'm pretty sure that you would knock that clown the fuck out. I'm if you ever wander up in front of him and go, oh, Georgie, I'm like, I'm a fucking grown man. Come on, now, just put up your dukes. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. The level of threat certainly wasn't there in it Chapter 2 than it is in It Chapter 1. The stakes were higher, I guess. And listen, I'd seen the original. I knew that was the situation, but certainly I guess I was hoping for more carnage, and there was, once Georgie gets his arm ripped off and stuff like that, there was no real carnage. There was just a bunch of threat, and trickery and tomfoolery and stuff like that, and there was no payoff for me there.
It's got some good set pieces. I think it's got like lots of. I mean, you can mark all the set pieces, like the bits in the house. Andy
Muschietti is a filmmaker. He's a great filmmaker. I really loved Mama. I think that it was his previous movie that he did. I thought
Mama was decent.
That kind of scared me. That movie. Interestingly, Mama ended up. I'm pretty sure they took the CGI like version of that off the computer and put it in it, like, because I'm pretty sure Mama was in it. But
what was Mama about again? I can't remember. Mama.
It was about your dad that comes back to haunt you, mate. No, I'm talking. It was about a mum. It was about a mum. It was about a mum that I think, if I'm right in thinking, Mama was about an orphan child that doesn't speak or something like that, and she's quite feral. She's
It
feral.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as
She's
the
brought
story
by the
uncovers,
witch,
you
innit?
realise that's right.
Yeah.
That movie had a
Right,
lot
yeah.
of payoff for me. Like it was scary, and the ending was also very kind of tragic and sad. It very much reminded me of that Spanish flick, The Orphanage, which I loved. I love that film. Very, very fucking scary, but also really, really sad as well. Like
Yeah, I've
so.
seen that, yeah.
I like Mama a lot, and I believe he's just done the new Flash movie, which everybody's telling me is going to be fantastic, and it's a fantastic movie.
Just look
apart
good.
from the chaos that the star has caused and everything like that. But yeah, you know, and quite right. You know, he should be rewarded because I think with the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, I think he made this Warner Brothers maybe 1.5 billion from the two movies. That's not bad, is it?
No, you made a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good going, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean the
Right,
Flash?
get on to number 6.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that? The carnage at the
What's that?
start. When you said about the
Say
Flash,
that again, my man.
You said about the Flash.
Well,
You said the carnage at the start. What do you mean?
It's the main actor, isn't it? He's got
Yeah, the main actor, like I think he kidnapped some girl and went off the rails. He was on Instagram, fucking, daring the FBI to come and get him and stuff like that. So Warner Brothers have effectively grabbed him and locked him in an asylum, and they're keeping him there until fucking the movie comes out and makes money. And all their advertising now is about Batman. And nothing to do with the fucking Flash, they ultimately plunged 220 million into a movie, and then the star went on a car crash fucking holiday, kidnapping young girls and fucking just being an absolute nightmare. So, like I said,
you would say that was a good holiday, depending on how you look.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely, mate. In fact, I would probably go as far as saying he probably had the best time of his life.
I think he was researching a new role. He was going method. I think that's what it was.
Method acting.
Yeah,
He went
exactly.
method,
He put everything on Instagram and Twitter and everything like that, and like I say, he was daring the FBI, come and catch me, and all this, and Warner Brothers were looking at that going, what the fuck? Yeah.
Insane. I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was having the time of his life.
He was.
Right, my number 6. We got number 6, didn't we? Yeah. Number 6,
Yeah.
I've got Stand By Me.
Yeah.
All-time classic movie.
Yeah.
Loved it since I was a kid, since I watched it. Just like, for what it is, like the perfect coming of age sort of movie, just very, very enjoyable all the way through. I said nothing more to say about it.
No,
awesome.
yeah. I should have said that as my honourable mention. I completely forgot about Stand By Me, to be honest with you.
Well, I forgot
But,
about it. So
yeah, but I watched it. Yeah, I watched it a couple of times as a kid. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but it's never been one that I've really held like a lot of affection for. I don't dislike the movie. I like it, but it's just it's never really kind of one that I've like rewatched over the years or anything. Stand By Me.
Fair play.
Yeah.
No, fair play. It's one of the. That's the thing.
What's number 6?
That's the thing with these lists. Everything's subjective, isn't it? It's what grabs you at the time. I mean, I watch movies, back in the day that I thought were shit, but I'll watch them now and I think they were great. And I'll watch great movies back in the day and I'll watch them now and I think they're shit.
Yeah.
Everything is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. Which is good news for me when taking in consideration every girlfriend that I've ever had, right enough. But yeah, it's one man's treasure is another man's trash.
There's absolutely no doubt. I could probably watch Stand By Me now, and it would probably jump into my top 5 of my list that I've done. You know what I mean? It's just one of them. I just haven't seen it for so long. But like I say, I remember liking it as a kid. I only watched it like a couple of times, but yeah.
What's your number?
And it's their favorite film.
My number 6 is hold on here, mate, because I swapped some shit out as we were going around.
Changing the
my
list
number 6. I have, because you realise that. Yeah. My number 6 is the Green Mile. My number 6 is the Green Mile. It's And that definitely lasts for fucking 3 hours. Definitely lasts for
Does,
3
yeah.
hours. That film.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. The Green Mile is at times horrific, like a proper horror film. You know, when John Coffey's holding them 2 dead kids and stuff like that, and screaming his ass off, and that's proper horror movie stuff. William Sadler has never been better as he is in this movie. Like, you know, even when he's playing Death from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but he's never been better than he is in this movie. There's not a bad thing to say about this movie. You know, it's absolutely exceptionally perfectly acted. It could very well be a stage play. If you could go to a theater and watch The Green Mile without a shadow of a doubt, and you'd come out and you think that was the best play I've ever seen in my life. It absolutely never fails to make me cry. You know, I absolutely want John Coffey to live at the end of it, but he has to die because you know, it's about sacrifice, and you know, and I think he says something effective. You know, that's how it is all over the world. You know, they kill you with their, you know, they kill you with love. It's just a stunning film. You know, all the little it feels. I think out of all the Stephen King adaptations that I've ever seen, it absolutely feels like you're watching a book. You're watching a movie based on a book with all these little subplots about mice, about the old guy that gets out and then scrawls his name on the wall and stuff like that. It feels like you're watching a book that was written in love. I think it's a stunning piece of cinema. Frank Darabont is absolutely fantastic at making Stephen King adaptations. I wish he'd done them all.
He makes them meticulously, doesn't he? He brings out all the best bits. Yeah,
he does.
Gotta agree with that.
He understands the material. I mean, you've obviously got Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks, you know, at the time was flying Mr. Oscar and everything like that. He was absolutely flying. I remember seeing this one scene from the making of The Green Mile, and there's a scene where the camera's just on John Coffey, where he's looking at the camera and he's just saying, I can't remember his name, John Coffey, and he's just saying his lines into the camera. Now, it turns out that day, Tom Hanks shouldn't have even been on set. He should have just been saying his words in the camera, but he showed up and he's behind the camera and he's saying his lines so John Coffey can react correctly. Because let's not forget, the guy who plays John Coffey was a fucking doorman 3 years prior to making The Green Mile. Michael Clark Duncan. Yeah, he was a fucking doorman beforehand, you know. And Michael Clark Duncan in this movie pulls off a fucking performance that, if you shoved an Oscar in Michael Clark Duncan's hand, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Wouldn't have a problem with that for this movie. Like, blows me away. And it's one of those movies that, if you've ever got, like, now that, you know, we've got kids and stuff like that, if you've got a kid, you would show them this to teach them some valuable life lessons about how you look at people and how you can't judge a book by its cover, etc., etc., etc. It's a very pertinent film. That's probably more pertinent as the years get by and this world gets ever more crazy. It's a brilliant film. So I love The Green Mile.
Michael Clark Duncan's character in that, he's the heart and soul of that movie.
Absolutely,
like, massively.
Absolutely.
His
If he
performance
doesn't work, the whole movie falls down. The whole movie collapses if he doesn't work.
And that's true. As great as everyone else is in that movie, and everyone is at the top of their game. Like you say, if his character doesn't work, the movie completely it falls apart.
Yeah,
but that's another one.
Well, I was going to say, don't you believe he's a giant in this movie? You know what I mean? You feel like he's a giant in this movie.
He's a big boy, isn't he?
totally.
But yeah, that's another one, the same as The Mist for me, The Green Mile. I've watched it once. I loved the movie. I can't watch it again, man, because when I say I sobbed, like I sobbed. Like, I was proper, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, man. Tears were streaming down my face watching The Green Mile. Like, to the point where tears were falling onto my jeans and everything. I've not sobbed that hard watching a movie ever in my life. And the thought of me sticking that back on again is like, do you know what? I'm all right. I'm okay. But it's a phenomenal film. It really is.
Fair play.
Great.
Elwood, what's your number 6?
I forgot to put it in.
Stick it now if you want to, mate. What's your number 6?
You can change it. You can change it.
I'm all sorted. I can't put it in now. It's actually.
Right, what's your number 6, Emma?
So what do you want? My 6, number 6.
Yeah.
Pet Cemetery.
Okay.
Not the
Nice.
shit remake. with Herman Munster and a boy Gage, not a girl Gage. You know what I mean? That's
Tell us why you love Pet Cemetery, man. Tell us why you love Pet Cemetery.
What's there? You know when his mate comes back. What's his name?
Pascal.
You remember? Yeah, Pascal. Oh,
Pascal.
fucking hell.
Yeah.
How scary is that? That was terrifying.
Pascal's quite scary. Like.
That was so scary. And the Achilles heels. Oh
yeah. Yeah.
That's nasty like that. It's nasty.
That was it.
Do you know what? I love these in-depth reviews we get from Elwood. Like, I fucking, his heel, Pascal. I love him. I absolutely know where he's coming from. Yeah.
What a guy.
Elwood doesn't need no 5
church.
paragraph review. 2 words.
Call a cat church. Brilliant. If I had a cat, I would call it church. I would. It's a
Church was
name.
quite
Why?
demonic.
Should get more cats called Church, or a dog, even a dog. Church.
Well, there is a dog. Remember the original Pet Cemetery? Herman Munster tells the story about the young kid who buried his dog. I can't remember the name of the dog. He goes, it wasn't quite the same when he come back, and it wasn't because he was all growly and that. You know, it was like, oh God, that wasn't the same dog.
Yeah, you could. If there's another remake, you could like maybe play Herman Munster with that.
I'd do it.
I would be down for that.
I'd do it. I'd do it. Sometimes Dad is better. I kind of sound like those fucking Terrence and Phillip from South Park when I fucking sometimes Dad is better. It sounds like Terrence and Phillip. It's like, hey, what's up, y'all? It sounds like Terrence and Phillip. It does. Anyway.
At least you don't look like Terrence and Phillip. Anyway.
Do you not have a problem with the ending, Elwood, of the movie? Do you not have a problem with the after the whole movie's gone through and the Herman Munster tells him, it's not a good idea to do it. They come back different, and then they come back different, and the little kid comes back and kills loads of people. Then his wife dies, and what does he do? He takes it to the pet cemetery, buries her. I mean, why would he do that? Does that make any sense?
But he
said this time it'll be different because she's fresh. That's his methodology in that, because he's talking to himself as he's taking it to the grave, and he's like, going, "Oh, this time it'll be different because you've just died, blah 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 blah." But it's about grief. Ultimately, Pet Sematary is a movie about grief.
Was Gage a bit old? Like, did he let his body?
Well, yeah, because he had to dig him up, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was buried. He went to his funeral. He had to dig him up.
But she was fresh, right?
Okay. Fair enough. Dave, man, what's your number 6?
Yeah. Oh, my number 6 is Carrie. Is my number 6. I haven't. It's another one I haven't seen for a long time. But what I do remember of this movie is, man, I really, really rooted for her. It's one of the rare horror movies where, like, you're not supposed to root for like the kind of one that's going to be killing everyone or whatever.
Satisfaction, though, isn't it? Once you get to revenge, it's satisfaction, isn't it?
I mean, like the final act.
There's a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah, the final act of that movie is just brilliant, man. And you do root for her. You want her to get revenge on everybody. Yeah, everyone.
Especially her mum. Her mum's a bitch.
Oh, she was a right prick. Yeah, she was. And then I did.
Chucking tampons at her in the fucking shower at the start, plug it up and all that. I mean,
plug it in, and all this. Yeah. Weirdly enough, I laughed the first time I watched that. I know you're not supposed to laugh, but I did. I chuckled. I don't know why. Just got an awkward sense of humour sometimes. But yeah, it's a really good movie. And like I say, you know, you just want her to just get revenge on everybody at the end. Like once she finally snaps, it's glorious.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely
good,
glorious. And then I always remember, like I say, that final jump scare ending.
yeah.
Really
I
got
can't
me.
really remember the
To be
ring.
fair, it takes her a lot to snap as well in this movie. You know, she endures a lot before she snaps.
Yeah.
It's not like it becomes this homicidal fucking chick at the drop of a hat. She endures a lot. She endures a
It's
whole
so cruel.
movie.
Yeah, the prank is so bad to her. Yeah, so cruel to her.
Yeah,
Then
so mean. Like
they're like, ask for it. Really ask for it.
Who's the boyfriend in it? You know, the
John Travolta.
is it John Travolta? Is
it's
it?
John Travolta, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was
And
William
there's
Catt. I
William-
thought it was the guy with
William
the
Catt and John Travolta.
William Catt's the
John Travolta
Yeah.
was Nancy's boyfriend.
He's the-
That's right.
Yeah. John Travolta's the guy in the car. William Catt's the guy in the stage.
Oh,
William
right.
William
Catt from House.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a famous dudes in that, isn't it? Famous people.
Do you know on
I think
Amazon Prime?
Halloween. Peter Souls from Halloween's in it. She's gorgeous.
She is. That's right. On Amazon Prime, there's a very, very, very good documentary of Brian De Palma, and he talks extensively about Carrie, and he talks about all of his movies, and I think it's about 2.5 hours long. But I would definitely recommend it. Just search De Palma on that.
Did he talk about Raising Cain?
He does. He talks about every single movie he's made, including Blowout and everything like that. And he talks about Carrie because, Carrie was his big shot. It starts off with his earlier art house films. He was doing a lot of work with De Niro and stuff like that, and these really small, obscure art house films. But Carrie was his shot. And, he faced quite a lot of studio interference, and he essentially told them all to fuck off and back off. And he became quite a dangerous commodity because of his the way he acted on the set of Carrie. But he got his film, he got his film, and he's still to this day very proud of it. In fact, is De Palma dead or is he alive? I don't know.
No, he's
alive or is he dead?
He's alive, I think.
He's alive.
He's still going.
He's alive. That's good.
I think so.
But yeah, check out. Just search De Palma on Amazon Prime. There's a really good documentary there, and it's fantastic. And it's full with clips of every movie that he's done, and he talks you through scenes and what he was thinking and everything. That's excellent. And he talks about the tampon scene in Carrie a lot. And that he fought to get that scene in, and the studio was saying, that's not the way to start the movie, blah 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 blah. And he was like, no, it's absolutely the way to start this movie. Yeah, totally.
You get on their side so quick, like you root for her from the first minute of that movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
So you get number 5.
Yeah, before we start with top 5, can I just go for a quick bathroom break, please?
Go for it, man.
It'll be 2 seconds.
Bas,
Right,
do the comments.
I've got one more one. All right, yeah, comments. Shit. Forgot about the comments. I always forget about the comments. Right, I'll just start from there. Dave says, I would say out of 10 by Christopher Walken impersonation is probably like a 4 or a 5. Like I said, it's still in the work. All right, Dave's working on his Christopher Walken impression. Wow. Scott says, gotta go. Really entertaining stream. Catch the rest of the playback. Thanks, matey. Dave says, one of the main things I don't like about the movie Silver Bullet are the stories that all comes back to the title at the very end. I guess it's fitting, but I found it kind of cliche and boring. I do like Silver Bullet for this aspect. I've seen it so many times, over and over and over. I just didn't love it, but I like it. It was almost as if you called the movie Dracula Wooden Stake, or if you called the movie Jaws Scuba Tank. Oh, I see what it means.
Yeah.
Is his wheelchair not called Silver Bullet or something?
It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Dave says, I still have the graphic novel of Creepshow from back when it came out. Fun trivia that Stephen King's Kid is in the wraparound with Tom Atkins.
Ah.
Tom Atkins. Love Tom Atkins.
Dave says,
He's a sexual dinosaur, sexual predator is Tom Atkins. Like, he's awesome.
I'll just put my light on.
Dave says next week let's do John Carpenter movies, the top 10 too.
Oh, that's not.
I think we talked too much about John Carpenter. If that's difficult, I don't know.
We do.
Dave
You know
says-
what my one is anyway.
By we, he's meaning me, isn't he? By we, he's meaning me. I get it, back. I can read between the fucking lines here.
Dave says I also like the movie Misery and Needful Things by, of course, Stephen King. I'm not a big fan of Needful Things. It's got some good bits.
I thought Needful Things was a TV show. Wasn't Needful Things a TV show? A movie?
No, it's the one with Ed Harrison and Max von Sydow.
All right, yeah.
Where he owns like an antique shop, and he gives like wishes, but they're all kind of
Backfire.
Yeah. Dave says, as I mentioned for fun before, Pete, my father took me to go see Jaws in 1975 twice in 1 week because the first time I kept closing my eyes. I'm 53 now. Dave says, all the horror movies, new horror movies, science fiction, fantasy films, Robin Hood, Sherlock Holmes, Walt Disney, etc., was always encouraged positively by the parents growing up over the years. Dave says, my father loved Psycho and things like that, but I don't think he really enjoyed the slasher movies. I think he always thought they were silly. He even got to see Halloween in the theatres. Yeah, I never think of Halloween as a slasher film. Just think of it as just an awesome movie.
Yeah, I don't really, weirdly enough.
I don't either. I don't either.
Yeah.
It's just like a really suspenseful sort of movie.
I think
Scary.
Halloween is it's its own thing. It's about the boogeyman. Yeah.
Halloween became a slasher in Halloween too.
Have you not seen the Boogeyman yet? Yeah, the Boogeyman. Have you not seen it yet? Stephen King, isn't it?
No, the boogeyman's coming out. Yeah. Apparently, people are saying good things about it, but it's like a PG-13 movie. You got it? What?
Did it not come out on Friday?
It did, yeah. I think it came out on Friday, yeah. I think that's why they dropped this article, because of the Boogeyman came out. I've heard mixed things. Like, I heard it's not as good as Horse, but not as bad as Dashcam. Same director, isn't it?
Can't be as bad as Dashcam.
Not as good as Dashcam. I'm not going to see it.
exactly. If there's no excrement in this movie, then count me the fuck out. Like, yeah, fuck that.
I might go.
Have you got number 5?
Yeah, we're at 5, mate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. My number 5. Oh, I've got a clip.
No, go
My
on.
number 5 is very short.
You dirty bird.
It's Misery from 1990. It's just a cracking movie, cracking acting. It's just like a quintessential Stephen King film. It's like everything that Stephen King does best is, I reckon, is in that movie. Even like the dialogue is very Stephen King, and the plot turns. Like, they'll have a character in there who thinks going to save everybody, being the copper, and he comes, it's killed, and you go, It's like Scatman Crothers in The Shining. He's going to come, you think he's going to save the kid and the wifey, and he gets an axe in the chest. You just
that's exactly
the same things he does. He's done really well in this movie.
Yeah, that scene of Misery is so good when that happens, because then you're just like, oh, what's going to happen now, kind of thing. You know,
kind of pulls the rug out from under you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
I love Misery.
Misery number 5.
I love that
film, isn't it?
I love that movie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, that
What's
scene
yours,
where...
Pete? What's number 5? Go on. Dave.
No, I was just going to say that scene where she breaks his feet and ankles, like, you know.
Hobbling,
my God, man. That's still hard to watch to this day. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. It goes there, doesn't it? It goes there.
Yeah.
You don't expect it. It does. That movie must still be an 18. I haven't checked. But
I would imagine it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not gory or anything, but that scene, I think, would keep it an 18.
Oh God, yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Because it hasn't got much swearing in it. She doesn't like swearing.
No, she doesn't.
You dirty birdie. You dirty birdie.
Come out, the Rudy car.
Dirty bird.
Totally.
And the thing is, you think he's got away with it when he's like going around the house, and he just was he nudges like something on the chessboard?
Yeah, he turns the wrong way. Yeah.
And he puts on Yeah, and that's how she knows he's been out of bed and stuff. You're like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah. It's kind of it's magic in a bottle misery for me. Like, you know, I am, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it's a little bit higher up on my list. So I'll talk a little bit about them. But it's magic in a bottle for me. This movie, like, it's
Go on, and what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Salem's Lot, my friend. It's Salem's Lot.
Number 5.
Number 5, but that just shows the quality of movies that are on this list. It's Salem's Lot because it made me vomit when I was a child. When I was a child, the fucking Salem's Lot Part 2 was on because it was in 2 parts. We watched it.
Yeah,
Part 1 ended with a fucking boy at the window at the night, which is fucking terrifying. By the way, James Gunn cites that scene as the scariest thing he's ever seen in movie history.
I would not argue with that.
I mean, it is. It's up there. And that's the thing about Salem's Lot. There are so many different scenes, right? And I'll get to my scene in a minute. But there's even that scene where the fucking guy of the Dukes of Hazzard, he's not scary at all. However, in fucking Salem's Lot, he's scary. Look at me.
Oh, in the rocking chair.
Get me.
He does that weird walk, doesn't he? He does this. He does all this. Look at me.
Got them white. Like,
he nails it, man.
Eyes on the corner. He's got
and little fangs, little scary fangs.
Look at me, teacher.
Look at me.
And his tongue's kind of half sticking out.
Yeah. It's just terrifying, man. But the scene that got me, that made me vomit when I was a kid, was I remember my sister going, "Hey, Peter, watch this." And she knew I was scared of the first part. And I think at the first part, I was like going, "Oh, no, I don't want to watch the second part because it's too scary." Because
that's how you thought when you were a
the
child.
first part was that scary. And she was like, And she was like, "No, Peter, come on. It's better. This is more about the, resolution, everything, the sorting this out. Nothing scary is going to happen in this hour." And I went, "Okay." And I got lured into a living room, and there was a guy in a jail cell. And I was like, well, what could possibly go wrong here? And then I fucking see this shadow dropping a jail key, and I thought, oh, that's nice. Someone's letting him out of jail. And then all of a sudden, oh, like that, vomited. Just fucking vomited. Went white as a sheet, vomited. And you never did that before. I vomited at the head scene in Jaws as well. As 2 movies I fucking vomited at. But yeah, vomited at that, and it was only years afterwards that I plucked up the courage to actually fucking watch it as a horror movie, and it's still terrifying. Like and that jump scare is up there with the fucking Exorcist 3 jump scare. It's that good. Like and like I say, it has so many moments that are just deeply, deeply horrifying. We'll go for the little boy at the window, open the window, and I think twice that motherfucker rolls up at the window as well. Not just once, twice. And
his brother comes up next time, doesn't he?
Oh, and his little brother's even scarier than he was in that, because fucking terrifying. You've got the fucking jump scare. You've got the fucking look at me scene, and then you've got that bit where the corpse rises up off the fucking table, and she's muttering, she's just talking gibberish. She's obviously reliving shit from her actual life, but meanwhile she's got these terrifying fucking eyes in the go, and that it's more than a vampire movie. This movie, it's more than a vampire movie. It's a deeply disturbing horror film.
That look at me. Imagine that. What we do in the shadows when he's like, "Look at me, look," fucking bangs on the window. Totally. Yeah. You're right. I mean, listen. What we do in the shadows is amazing, but yeah, Salem's Lot is it's more than just a vampire movie. It's Toby Hooper as he's up there. He's knocking out the park with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's 2 good movies, and I don't really care for any of his other movies, unfortunately. The Mighty Nice part.
Poltergeist.
Not really.
What? Poltergeist.
It's a Steven Spielberg film now. It is. It's a Steven Spielberg
Toby
film.
Hooper, if he was alive, he'd he'd say, "Nah, man, it was me."
Well, Steven Spielberg has said no, it was all Toby. But from if you read anything about that movie,
Yeah.
they say that Spielberg was on set directing pretty much day by day for that movie. Like, and to be honest, it feels like a Spielberg movie. It looks like a Spielberg movie, and if it looks and smells and feels like a Spielberg movie, guess what, Bass? It's a Spielberg movie. It's totally. But for me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is an absolute masterclass. Put it in the museums of cinema history. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a perfect film. Salem's Lot is not too far behind. Not too far behind, but for different reasons. It's him with a budget and source material, and he does his own thing with Stephen King's material, and James Mason as well, and David Soul, all these things, and fucking John McClane's wife's even in there, and she's actually quite good at it as well, Yeah. Bonnie Bedealer, I think we call her in that. But yeah. It's a great film. I'd be hard pushed if anybody said, "Do you prefer the full movie, the condensed full movie, or do you prefer the 2 episodes, big ass long versions?" I don't know.
4 hours.
I just don't know. It was long. I remember it was long. Yeah, I think I prefer the 2. I think I prefer the 2 separate episodes because that's how I saw it when I was a kid, and it fucking terrified me. Like, it fucking terrified me. And it still. I put that on for my kids a couple of years ago, and they thought I was bonkers. They thought, "How the fuck were you even scared of this stuff?" And I was like, "Oh God, do you not think it's terrifying? What about look at me? And they were like, "Oh, Dad, it's stupid." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So at that point, I had to do a DNA test and everything like that just to see if they were related. Same thing with Kung Fu Hustle, man. I fucking love Kung Fu Hustle. I put on Kung Fu Hustle because everybody loves Kung Fu Hustle, and both my kids fucking went, "Dad, that's the shittest film ever." And I was like, "What the fuck?" Some you win, some you lose. But Salem's Lot is great. I love Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
You should be thankful that you grew up when you grew up and you managed to watch these movies at just exactly the right time to have the maximum impact
100%.
on you. Because
Absolutely.
those that weren't there when it happened, when it came out, they missed it. They missed the boat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got these special
100%.
things that other people don't have.
100%.
Elwood, what's your number 5, mate?
I'm totally regretting not putting Salem's Lot on my list because I totally forgot about it.
It's an honourable mention. Honourably mention it.
Oh, has it got any special features? Is that a VHS?
Nah,
It's a
it's the short version, 112 minute. Yeah, it's the 112-minute version.
Yeah, it's that guy in the back that says, "Look at me, turn it around, Bass."
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
That's
right.
exactly.
It is.
Look at me. Ugh. Horrible, scary as shit. Oh, and I can
Don't
see
throw up,
his
mate.
eyes.
It's not an 18 now. It's not an 18 now. It
No,
was back then, though.
No, I'll be a 12 now.
15.
be a 15, won't it?
Yeah.
I think they showed it on the horror channel during the day, like just in the afternoon time. They would put it on. A few cuts.
My 5's Christine, so we've already talked about that. So
Oh, right, cool.
yeah,
What about you, Dave?
My
Why do you love
5 is
Christine Elwood?
I love.
Why do you love Christine?
Looks exactly the same as my Ford Focus.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Right,
Dave,
right,
what's your
pause. I'm nipping the no, pause. I'm going to the toilet. Put the comments on. Oh, by the way, do you like my t-shirt? It should say wonka, but it actually says wanka.
Wanker t-shirt.
Yeah. It's good, eh?
he's a madman.
I love it. Dave says I've read that one. My father also got to see Alien in the theaters, but didn't make me go with him. We used to look through my issues of Fangoria, and he would just laugh at how Myers keeps coming back. Dave says, besides getting to see Jaws in theaters twice, I got to see the sequels in the theaters 2 by myself, 3 and 4 for free.
Yeah.
I can't imagine watching Jaws: The Revenge at the cinema, man. That would be a downer. I meant to also mentioned that Stephen King movie, well spaced on story of Graveyard Shift, was kind of fun with big rats.
Oh yeah, I
Don't like
remember
that one,
watching
man.
that at some point, but I don't.
Even Brad Dourif can't say that.
It was shocking, that film.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it at all.
No, it was
I do remember at the time when it finished thinking that was shite, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah.
Actually, I was gonna try a thing. I was gonna try a thing, guys, where we were gonna do a quiz, Stephen King quiz. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go to Chat GPT and make a Stephen King quiz for us.
Can
you try that?
Can I do it?
Let's see. It might be able to do it for us.
AI.
Put on it. Let's have an AI generated quiz about Stephen King.
Careful, Vask. They might launch weapons of mass destruction against the UK. That's how it happens, man. Have you not seen any science fiction movies from the last 20 years, mate? I love how we're all sleepwalking to absolute destruction at this point in time with AI. Like, yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's like
it's not war games, dude. It's not war games. It's fucking Chat GPT. It ain't war games.
All right, yeah, good one. Okay.
And I'm not Matthew Broderick.
I asked my AI the other day to sing a song about Newcastle United.
What shall I write?
Brilliant.
Make a
dirty monkey
extremely difficult,
easy,
man,
difficult quiz about on the topic of Stephen King horror films.
Well, Stephen wrong.
That sounds right, doesn't it? And let's see how amazing ChatGPT is. Make and you gotta get that grammar right. Make an extremely difficult quiz on the topic of Stephen King horror films. That sounds all right, doesn't it?
It won't know what.
Right.
Do it.
Let's have a look.
Welcome
to the Stephen King. Welcome to the Stephen. Can I make this a bit bigger? Hold on. Whoa.
Fuck us all.
How many questions, dude? Right. Okay. Are you ready? Welcome to this. Can you see this, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome to the Stephen King films quiz. The quiz will test your knowledge of Stephen King's terrifying cinematic adaptations. Get ready for the challenge. Number 1. In the film The Shining, what is the name of the hotel? Oh, that's a tough one. Where the majority of the story takes place.
Sorry.
That's extremely difficult question.
How would you get the answers? Where is there
dude, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it's all there. Right. So Overlook Hotel. I don't know. I don't find that to be an extremely difficult question, but never mind.
No,
question 2: which Stephen King novel was the basis for the film Carrie?
I would say Carrie.
I know this one. Carrie.
Do you know this one? Go on.
It's Carrie. It's the novel Carrie.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow. That's such a difficult question. GPT.
It's Christine, isn't it? No?
Oh, my God. Who directed the 2017 film adaptation of Stephen King's It?
Andy
Mussolini.
2017 what?
Andy Muschietti, yeah, whatever. Question 4. In the movie Misery, what is the name of the character played by Kathy Bates? Is it Annie Wilkes?
Annie Wilkes.
Yeah,
that's a fairly hard question. We've got one hard question so far.
Yeah.
What is the name of the fictional town in Maine that appears in many of Stephen King's stories, including It and Pet Sematary? Is it Derry?
I should know this.
Derry?
It is Derry.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a Snapchat friend who lives in Maine. Maybe I should message him and ask some Stephen King facts. I'll do it now.
Right, dude. Okay. Right. Question 6. Which actor played the role of Jack Torrance in Stanley Kubrick's film adaptation of The Shining?
Jim Carrey.
Such a hard question.
Yeah, we should ignore that question because it's stupid.
Yeah. What is the name of the evil entity that takes the form of Pennywise the dancing clown in It? What is the name of the evil entity that takes the form of Pennywise the dancing clown in It?
I have no idea this one, man. To be fair,
What is the actual Pennywise, isn't it?
It's Pennywise, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is Pennywise.
no, because it's an interdimensional fucking being, isn't it? What's the name of it?
Yeah, Pennywise.
Pennywise is its form. Is it? Yeah, that's a tough question. That is definitely a tough question. I have no idea what the answer to that.
It's just take the time to answer these questions, and when you're ready, let me know. Oh, do I have to say answer the questions at the end? All right, okay. Question number 8. Which Stephen King novel was adapted into the film The Green Mile?
It wasn't actually called The Green Mile. I do know that.
It was called The Green Walk or something, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
I'm actually not too sure about that one.
No, my missus has read it, but I have no idea what it was called, my man.
Right.
It says here the movie is an adaptation of the 1996 Stephen King novel The Green Mile.
All right, so it is The Green Mile.
So which
The Green
Stephen King
Mile.
novel- Yeah, it was The Green Mile.
I thought it was called something else.
I can't get you back, dudes. Where he is?
We haven't
In
gone
the
anywhere.
film, in the film
You've
Children of
turned
the
the camera
Corn,
off,
what is the name of the cult? In the film Children of the Corn,
Yeah.
what is the name of the cult led by Isaac?
I've never watched Children of the Corn, so I've no idea.
I've seen it ages ago. I have no idea. I don't really like
Oh,
Children of the Corn.
Who? Right. So that's one question we can't get.
Malachi. Remember Malachi? He was in Children.
Malachi.
That was the coolest fuck name, that wasn't it?
Oh, in
Isn't
fact, it
it-
might
did not call He who walks amongst the rows, something like that. No, that's the name of the. I don't know, man.
No idea.
Let me
That's
stick it in
church
Google.
on Sunday.
Malachi. If I have another child, I'm going to call him Malachi. Malachi.
Garfunkel. I quite fancy Garfunkel, man. You know Simon and Garfunkel. I'm like, who the fuck calls their
You
kid
don't get many
Garfunkel?
these days, don't you? Not? Oh,
No, you don't get
Malachi.
many Garfunkels, man.
You don't
Garfunkel
get-
Thompson.
You don't get like
I think-
Daves or Peters or you know what I mean. You don't get all these names are going to be
True.
extinct soon.
That's true. There's
Yeah.
not enough Daves. There's not enough Peters. There's not enough Pauls. Mind you,
Isn't-
there probably is Peters and Pauls because we're biblical names. Mind you, Dave is a biblical name as well. David. So,
Dave.
yeah, David's a biblical name. Actually,
We'll
you know
have to
what?
check-
People
we'll have to-
call him David.
We'll have to
We
check the
can't
answer for that
mourn.
one.
We can't mourn. There's fucking loads of us, man. There's fucking loads of us. But Garfunkel, there's no Garfunkels, man.
Now you're talking.
It says here, Isaac is the leader of the Children of the Corn.
Yes.
That's the name of the cult. The Children of the Corn is the name of the cult. A cult made of children and adolescents who worship a demonic entity called He Who Walks Behind the Rows.
Batty, right now, while you're pondering these questions and answers, the AI is in your bank accounts and it's just bought you a new car that it's sending over to Russia right now. Right now, Bass. When you wake up in the morning, your bank account's depleted and you've suddenly bought a Porsche Carrera that's going to someone called V. Putin. Who's that?
Who knows?
Mark my words. Mark my words, man.
All right,
think-
question 10. Question 10.
Yeah.
Who directed the 1994 film adaptation of The Shawshank Redemption?
Frank Darabont.
Yeah. Which Stephen King novel was adapted into the film Cujo?
Cujo.
I believe it's
Cujo.
called Cujo. Yeah, Cujo.
Yeah.
Cujo. In the movie Pet Sematary, what is the name of the ancient burial ground where animals and people are brought back to life?
Holy
Pet
moly.
Cemetery.
I'm pretty sure it's called Pet Sematary.
Pet Cemetery. Yeah.
Okay, hell, dude. Who directed the 1989 film adaptation of Stephen King's Pet Sematary?
Oh,
Mary Lambert.
Mary Lambert? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the name of the main character in Stephen King's novel The Dead Zone who possesses psychic abilities? Oh.
Christopher Walken.
Okay, here's the hard one for you. Which Stephen King novel was adapted into the film Christine?
Christine.
Christine.
Definitely Christine. Definitely Christine. Yeah.
Okay, now.
It
In
was
the
the
film 1408, What is the profession of the character played by John Cusack?
He's a writer.
He's a writer.
Oh, he's a ghost. He's a ghost. He's like a ghost.
He's a writer.
Horror type guy.
Spoiler
He's a
alert.
writer.
He's a
He writes reviews. He writes reviews, doesn't he, of Haunted Hotel?
But does he write
Right,
about
in
it?
the 70s.
He writes
All right,
about
guys.
it. Doesn't he?
4 questions
he a-
left. Zip.
Sorry. Sorry.
Who directed the 2019 film adaptation of Doctor Sleep?
Mike Flanagan.
Mhm.
Very good. Right, he's the hardest question of the lot.
The Flaniverse. Fucking Flaniverse.
Right,
Flaniverse. Is there such a thing as the Flaniverse?
That's what
Flaniverse.
Netflix call it, yeah. They call all the Flanagan's films the Flaniverse.
right. Okay, here's the hard question for you. What is the name of the villainous dog in Stephen King's novel Cujo?
Shep.
Dave.
No idea.
No idea. No idea. Beyond me, that.
No idea. Don't know what it could possibly be.
In the film The Mist, what is the source of the mysterious mist that engulfs the town?
The Mist.
From the army base place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's from the Armyverse, yeah.
Okay, here's another very difficult question. Which Stephen King novel was adapted into the film The Stand?
The Dark Half.
I know this one. It's on the tip of my tongue.
The Dark Tower.
Maybe something shit like that.
No, I thought I had an idea. I don't anymore. No.
Salem's Lot.
That's how clever ChatGPT is with his extremely difficult questions.
So at the moment with AI, guys, we're safe from just
I
one day,
think
just for now.
so. Yeah,
Skynet it is not at the moment.
yeah, there's
Not
no
yet.
Cyberdyne systems in there, I'm afraid. How do I get the answers? It says I'll provide you with the correct answers.
Well,
I know
actually,
the
All right. What are the answers
don't you dare say you can't get the
to the quiz above?
Really? And not understand that?
I don't know.
About to find out.
Okay, here we go.
So,
So, the Overlook Hotel, Carrie, Andy Muschietti, Annie Wilkes.
Yeah.
The
Fucking
fictional
hell,
town
man.
is called Derry. Jack Nicholson. Okay, the evil entity that takes the form of Pennywise, the
Deadlights.
dancing clown, is called the Deadlights. There you go, the Deadlights.
That's it, yeah.
right, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Is known as it or the entity of the Deadlights. So it's it. It is the answer as well. The Stephen King novel adapted into Green Mile is called The Green Mile.
I'm
In The
amazed.
Children of the Corn, right? Listen, in The Children of the Corn, the cult led by Isaac is called Children of the Corn.
But
Makes sense.
Frank
Makes
Darabont,
sense now you say it like that.
yeah, Frank Darabont directed Shawshank. Cujo is the Stephen King novel adapted into the film Cujo. Okay, the ancient burial ground in Pet Cemetery is called the Micmac Burial Ground.
no.
Yeah. Pet Cemetery was directed by Mary Lambert. Main character in The Dead Zone is called Johnny Smith.
Yeah.
Stephen King novel adapted into Christine is called Christine. 1408, John Cusack is a writer.
Oh, well done, Peter. You got
Dr.
that.
Sleep was directed by Mike Flanagan. The
Flanagan.
villainous dog in Cujo is called Cujo.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and it was. In the film The Mist, the source of the mysterious mist is believed to be otherworldly creatures from another dimension.
Yeah.
Is that the shittiest answer or what ever? Like, duh.
What?
Uh,
The stand is also called the stand. That makes no sense.
The Stephen King novel adapted into The Stand is called The Stand. There you go, guys. That's
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
To be fair, right, check this out, right? My kids have recently been going through in Scotland what the equivalent of GCSE exams are, right? And they sent home these disclaimers and shit like that the parents have to sign. And parents have to sign these disclaimers to essentially say that they will not let their children anywhere near AI before their fucking their exams, because apparently the majority of kids who are about to face exams, they're going on AI and saying, what's the GCSE for English? You know, how do I pass my GCSE for English? And AI is spitting out all sorts, and people are passing with it. So it's a genuine cheat. Like I said, I had to sign the disclaimer saying that, you know, I won't let my kids near ChatGPT.
Weird, isn't it?
Ah.
And you got the teacher
It's not-
going, why do you keep talking about Christine in the stand?
Totally. Who's Corey Haim?
Right. What number were we on? I think we're on number 4. Is that right?
No, 5, I think.
I haven't said my 5 yet. But
All
it'll,
right.
be
What's your
very,
number 5?
it'll be very quick.
Oh, yeah.
mate. It's the same as Pete's Salem's Lot, and we've like dived into that. So
They're
Champion.
all going to get very similar now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
We did it. Okay. My number 4 is Shawshank Redemption.
No, number 5. Number 5.
No, I done. My number 5 was Misery.
Misery. Yeah.
Now we're on number
I
4.
haven't done my number 5 then.
Go on. What was your number 5?
My number 5 is The Shining.
Is it number 5?
Number 5, aye. Number 5.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why it's my number 5 is probably the first time I ever saw the movie. I have to say I didn't really like the movie very much. You know, it didn't really do anything big. As I've got older and I've rewatched The Shining, I appreciate its brilliance, and it is cinematically fantastic. Stanley Kubrick knocks it out the absolute park. Its attention to detail is absolutely fucking fantastic, and you know there are so many sub stories to that movie. For every scene that you're watching, it's an absolute cinephile's fucking wet dream. You know, if you just watch the documentary Room 237, you know, you can watch that movie in 3 or 4 different ways. It is brilliant and it is scary. And I think when I was a child,
It's only 15. It's only 15 now.
Is it? Fuck me.
Yeah, 15.
I tell you what, that naked scene with that granny alone deserves an 18 certificate. Like, you know,
Agreed.
that was the scene that fucked me up as a kid, and
It didn't need that. It didn't need that at all.
I was just getting into Stanley Kubrick's work. I think I watched The Clockwork Orange first, and then I watched The Shining. And I really like it, and it gets better with every watch. It really does get better with every watch, and I appreciate it more now than I ever did when I was a kid. That is for sure. I think why it's at number 5, and everyone will say why is it not number 1, but why it's at number 5 for me is it's ultimately because, you know, once you get away with the, you know, you disregard the absolutely fantastic cinematography, the absolutely fantastic performances. What have you got there?
The music as well. The music's pretty amazing.
The music is phenomenal. Absolutely. You've got a story about a man that wants to kill his kids and family because he's possessed. And the hotel takes over him, and it's very, very good. I mean, it's very, very good. But it's a long and drawn out film for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's number 5 on my list. It's above The Green Mile, and I fucking love The Green Mile. So I love The Shine, and I feel like I'm having to explain why it's number 5 on my list. But for me, the other 4 movies are better for me. I love The Shining. I love Jack Nicholson's performance. Shelley Duvall is fucking great in this movie as well. She doesn't get a lot of credit, but she is great.
Terrible.
I think she's great. I think she's great. I mean, she's absolutely emotionally shattered in this movie, and you know, and that's how it should be. Like, she is just absolutely shattered. Like, she, you know, the bit where she walks in and she sees what the fuck Jack has been doing on his typewriter for the last 3 months, and it's all work and dull play makes Jack a dull boy, is the greatest. You know, and I'm not talking about the baseball bat waving scene. It's the way Stanley Kubrick focuses on that typewriter and she's flicking through the pages. It's just fucking terrifying. For me, that's its most terrifying scene, because it's confirmation that this motherfucker has lost it, like, and she is in danger, and her kid is in danger. That's when she realizes. Yeah, absolutely. It's terrifying to me. But it, like I say, my other 4 movies, I get more out of. So it's number 5 on my list, but it doesn't take it away. It's a fantastic movie. You know, it's absolutely my son, who's into he likes making music and stuff like that, like creating weird kind of musics and stuff like that. He heard about The Shining because of some of the weird kind of music stuff that goes on in this movie. And he watched The Shining, and at the end of the movie, he went, "Absolute masterpiece, Dad. and I love that, to be fair.
Mm.
But for me, it was a difficult movie to like when I was a kid. I couldn't feel it,
Yeah,
and it was only till I was maybe in my 20s, 30s that I started to feel The Shining. And to be fair, if I watched it again next week, I'd probably like that little bit better. And who knows, if you ask me again in 20 years' time, it might be at number 1 in my list.
Yeah.
But for the moment, it's in number 5 for sure.
Yeah, I get
Fair
that.
enough. Right, my number. We're on number 4. My number 4 is where's Elwood gone?
I've got a message from my friend in Maine,
All right, okay.
and he's saying, well, besides living near the fictitious town of Derry, which is called Dexter, Maine, apparently,
Huh?
and being near the old woolen mill in the movie Fright Night, and having gone to the cemetery in Bangor, where he did the cameo in Pet Cemetery, and heading out towards Bar Harbour, where you can find the actual house that was in the movie Pet Cemetery, and he sent me loads of photos.
No way. That's
Yeah.
fucking cool.
He just lives
Bar
down the
Harbour.
road from him. Yeah, he just lives down the road from in Maine. I knew he lived near him. He said a couple of fields away from him because he lives in nowhere. Yeah,
That's
loads of photos. I'll
cool
send you
shit,
the
man.
photos. I'll send you the photos.
Send us the photos, man. Send us the photos. I like that shit.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Huh? Definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, my number 4 is the Shawshank Redemption. Just another Frank Darabont classic movie.
Yeah.
It's just a fantastic film. It's one of the movies when you start watching it, you just got to watch the whole thing. Very emotional film, awesome story. It's like it's one of the ones where it takes you like on an emotional journey all the way through, ups and downs, but it's like really hopeful at the end. It's like ends on a high note.
It's a great ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
And Tim Robbins is fantastic in it. He's one of my favorite actors. I wish he was in more stuff. But yeah, that one.
I think Shawshank was voted, and it's been voted on a number of occasions, the best movie of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Like,
I wouldn't either. But it
is.
People love it.
Yeah.
And for a movie that came out with very little fanfare and it kind of bombed at the cinema. Well, it's criminal. It is criminal. But hey, that's it. We are book consumers.
Yeah.
You drinking red Sprite?
No, I'm on the bud.
What's your number 4, Pete?
My number 4 is Carrie. Exactly the same. Yeah, exactly the same reasons that Dave said. I think as a movie, it's constructed just perfectly. Sissy Spacek just perfect for this role. Absolutely perfect for this role. It's when I watched it the first time, I was a teenager. Without getting too heavy or anything like that, I think everybody knows how it feels to get bullied and whatever and everything like that. And I think it resonates with you when you watch this movie. So she drags you in.
Do you wish you had like powers when you were a kid, Pete? After watching the movie,
absolutely. Fuck I. Honestly, until I discovered my 2 powers. No, exactly. My guns. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Exactly.
We know he's joking, Pete. We know.
No, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely empathized with her big time. I'm so sorry for her. She's a lovely character. Her mother's a piece of shit. Everybody around this girl is a piece of shit in this movie. Everybody around this girl, apart from William Katt with his fucking white curly hair. You're thinking to yourself, get them curls to good use, son. Look after her. And even he can't protect her from the shite hawks that are around her. And everything goes tits up. And then De Palma goes full De Palma by doing his split screens all over the place. And it's expertly directed. And it showed cinema something that they never, ever seen before. Split screen. And it showed you that you watch that, because this explains this at exactly the same time, and we've never seen that before. And there's not many movies that can pull that shit off, but De Palma can pull that shit off because he is the best cinematographer I think the world has ever seen. and that's why Carrie's so successful. You know, it's backed up by amazing Oscar-winning performances. You know, but it's also got one of the best directors at the top of his game, competing with the likes of William Friedkin at the time and all this and all these, the Brat Pack of directors, you know, the renegades of directors, competing with him, and he absolutely throws his hat into a ring for that, and it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal movie. Yeah. I don't watch it.
I'm feeling a bit bad now. I didn't have it on my list at all. It wasn't in my top 15. It wasn't there at all. Not even in my honorable mentions. I'm feeling bad about it now. It's just because I like our movies more than Carrie. Like I can name 4 or 5 that I like more than Carrie. So it just kind of goes down the list just because I like some of his other works so much.
To be fair, when you said we're going to do a list of Stephen King, I genuinely thought, well, hang fire, there's more shit than there is good. And there is a lot of shit out there. Like I say, Graveyard Shift and all these fucking movies, The Mangler and stuff like that. So there's a lot of shit out there. But
Sleepwalkers.
Fuck you, Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers, by the way, honorable mention.
Oh yeah, the night. Remember that one? That was a Stephen King, wasn't it? Night
The
Flight.
Night Flyer. Exactly. Thinner.
Another
piece of shit. And again, I think that was made by Tom Holland as well. Thinner.
It was.
Who made Friday Night?
Spider-Man.
You know, not that Tom Holland. But to be fair, even in Thin Air, there was moments in there that I kind of liked, but you know, ultimately it felt like a cheap TV movie or something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of garbage in there.
Look fat. He didn't even look fat. He didn't even look fat. He's fucking.
He's wearing a fucking Eddie Murphy fat suit, man.
Yeah,
it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 75% in the movie where he's lost the fat suit. That's when you start engaging with the character, and you've lost 75% of the film because he looked like fucking one of the clumps. It was ridiculous. And then you know, rather than actually having a skinny person playing the part, they just put dark makeup on his cheekbones, and you're supposed to fucking buy it. And I'm like, what? It's a major motion picture. I can't buy that. He looks like he's just had a fish supper. He looks like his knees strange. Look at this lad. But you put a bit of dark makeup on his cheeks, and I'm supposed to buy that he's emaciated. Fuck off. So yeah. Ridiculous, man. Fucking ridiculous. Get on your fucking bike and don't come back, you stupid bastard.
That's the best review of Finner I've heard. Just fuck off.
Fuck off, man. So Finner sucks. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of shit. And don't get me wrong, you know, honourable mentions and stuff like that. 1408's another honourable mention. I like the 1408 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of harkbacks to The Shine, and John Cusack I think it was actually John Cusack's last good performance before he went direct to the video bin, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff. But Stephen King has a real lot of really good stuff. I mentioned Oscar-winning films, and you know, all these fucking really good stuff. So yeah, no, it's tough. I only realized it was so tough today when I was watching the best of Stephen King and the worst of Stephen King movies on YouTube. I was like, oh no, you know.
Research.
So again,
just some research. You've been.
No, that's how he did it right. That's what you're supposed to be doing, dude. You're supposed to be thinking about it.
We were doing our homework.
Totally.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry I interrupted. Sorry.
Dude, research. Preparation.
Yes, preparation. Yes.
What's your number 4, Elwood?
Oh, my number
Give us your number 4.
I'll just look at my notes over here.
Daddy prepared.
Creepshow 2.
Is the ink still wet? Creepshow 2.
Where I?
Thanks for the ride, lady. Was it that? That's what did
It's
it.
not for that one. It's for the raft.
Toy with me, you fuck.
It's basically for the raft.
The raft
loved
is
that
good.
little short. I loved it. I think it was from the Skeleton Crew book. I think. Not too sure. He had a
You
lot
used to
of
have a
little.
Skeleton Crew. Yeah,
stories.
Stephen King's Skeleton Crew. You had that. You showed me that when I was a kid.
Yeah. I think my nana had it. I think I learned it off her. But yeah, Creepshow 2. I mean, this is the list of what we would like. We would watch again, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't watch Salem's Lot. I'd watch Creepshow 2 every day. I would watch Salem's Lot.
You'd skip it to the raft and then, but not watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I'll just watch the raft.
Yeah, it's on number 4.
What?
And I'm like, he's got away. Oh, fucking hell. Every bastard time.
Do you know what? I've watched the raft a few times, mate, and that skinny little fuck never gets away from that.
He
fucking-
never gets-
it. You know, he's on the shore, and you're thinking, surely he's safe. Surely he's safe.
You think
Oh,
go a bit further just because you're on the shore, just because you're on the little tiny bit. It does mean
yeah.
you're safe.
To be fair, if
Go
it
on
was
the-
me, I'd have run like fuck. I'd have been doing
Yeah.
Jason Patrick up the road,
Yeah.
like I'd have
Oh,
been fucking Terminator doing it.
you'd be Forrest Gumping all the way freaking
Right.
out of there, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
It's all right. It's in the water. I'm safe.
Exactly. I'd have been getting texts off Vassy and Elwood saying, "Why didn't you visit me when you were passing through the northeast, Pete?" I'd have ran that fast. Exactly. I got no time to stop. No time to stop.
Yeah, I love Creepshow
Right.
2. So what we've got in Creepshow 2, we've got the raft. We've got the... No, Thanks for the Ride Lady was Creepshow 1, wasn't it?
No, man.
No,
it's
it's
Creepshow
Creepshow
2.
2.
Was it
Have you
Creepshow-
even seen Creepshow 2?
What was the other one? The fucking Indian.
The Indian.
Indian guy, the boring one.
No, I like that. I like the Indian one.
3 stories.
Boring as anything, man.
4 stories.
It's the one you can't wait to finish so you can watch the next one.
That's a good point. Good point. Is the 4 stories in Creepshow 2 or is it 3?
It's like kick the can and trailers on the movie. It's the one you want to finish quick so you can watch the next one, which is better.
But it's very sad, Vass. It's sad. It's emotional, man. Watch it again now. Now that you're old.
It's saccharine,
Now
man.
that you're old as fuck, watch it again.
Steven Spielberg at his worst. All the bits that, put you off Steven Spielberg.
It's not like Creepshow 2.
I don't
What?
like. No, I don't. I like the raft, and I don't mind the Thanks for the Ride Lady. I don't mind it, but it's ain't that good. It hasn't got the consistency that I like in anthology films.
Better than The Shine.
I like the
Elwood, I will say-
cartoony
what I
bits. I
will
like
say-
more than the stories. To be honest, I like the cartoony bits.
What
Yeah.
I will say, Elwood, is you know what? This is your fucking top 10, right?
Yeah.
And whether
Well,
we
I'll
agree
watch
with it or not, it doesn't matter. If this is the movies, I mean, my number 1, by the way, is probably in the same vein as yours, Off Killer. It's about what you're going to go back and watch and all this, and what you personally get. The
I
bus
would
from.
watch The Shining
If you're saying
over and
Creepshow
over
2,
again.
I'm going to say, yes, I think this nigga's crazy, but I'm going to support you on it, mate, because it's your choice. It's your choice, mate. It's your choice.
Motherfucker's gone crazy, man.
That's right. That's right, man. Oh, by the way, can I just correct for internet land? I meant that in a metaphorical sense,
Yeah.
not a literal sense.
Yeah.
Metaphorical.
You're a bit too
Metaphorical.
pale to be saying that, Pete. I've got to say, a bit
Huh?
too pale. You're a bit too
Wait.
pale to be saying that.
Dude, Nick Frost says it in Shaun of the Dead. So I'm only mimicking Shaun of the Dead. It's
No,
a
he
metaphorical thing. He does.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago, dude. It's a different world now.
Was it? Shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna a trigger warning at the beginning of this now when it posts when it
I'd
goes
just
up.
like to see he doesn't
Video
have
that's
views of
just
views or
The views that were expressed on this channel were not the views that is expressed on Savage Zombie Reviews. Let's put that up there. I'm very sorry, Savage Zombie Reviews.
As Dave just goes,
It was a figure of speech, and I definitely know that Ice Cube would have taken. He would have had a word with it in my ear, saying that's not your word anymore. Right, so I'm very sorry. Okay, sorry.
That was brilliant.
Right, Dave, what's your number 4?
Oh, I'm scared to even go on now. My number 4, mate. We've spoke about it. It's Misery is my number 4. I did have like me Misery was 5 and Salem's Lot was 4, but I just kind of changed them around a little bit. Like I love Salem's Lot, but I just like Misery a little bit more. She just creeped me out when I was a kid, man. She was just like my worst nightmare completely. Like, you know what I mean? And just imagining, eh?
Sexy though, isn't she?
Do you think so?
She's not sexy. She's not sexy.
Elwood doesn't have very high standards, to be honest.
I don't have in the cabin all by herself. You know what I mean?
Gagging for it.
I think it was all that clothes she was wearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that fashion.
Loads of paper. You get all the paper.
All the paper you want.
I would love that.
And she was loyal. She loved them. She didn't want them to go. I mean, that's rare.
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I think so.
You don't have to break his feet, like, but you know.
Oh,
mind you, Dave, have you ever been out with a bird from the northeast? Because I swear to God,
that's what they do.
Not a million miles away. Like, that's why I fucking moved, mate. That's why I moved. Like, by the way, I apologize to all the girls from the northeast, but you're all fucking psychos. That's why I moved, man.
Again, David Savage Zombie Reviews does not share the same opinions as me. I love all women, even if they are from the northeast.
Yes, the northeast women are very level-headed. It's just jokes. It's just jokes.
So the coupling, is that a real thing then?
I think she said it was. Yeah.
From
It's
the
a
mine.
real historic type of.
Diamond mines. Diamond.
No one knows
mines.
anything about.
That's how they.
Just from Misery. You just know about it from Misery. You don't know any. You've got no facts. You've got no facts.
No.
You've got no stats.
No facts. No facts. But
No facts.
But
No stats.
you've got to imagine, as most writers do, they research everything that they put into a novel to sound genuine and stuff like that. So you would imagine that Steve King had researched the diamond mines and found that this would. Because I think it's called hobbling. She refers to it as hobbling. So it's a.
I said coupling.
It's a thing.
I can imagine in the book, it must be like 5-6 chapters because Stephen King likes to do his research and he goes into minute details of everything when you read his books. Yeah, I read Gerald's Game and literally like it's a very enclosed story.
Dirty boy.
And what? And it goes off on a tangent for about 200 pages. Seriously, man, 200 pages about something like has nothing to do with anything. But it has to go into so like minute detail, and you're like, "Get on with it, man! Get on with the story." So yeah, right. Should we go? We're on number 3.
Yeah,
Number 3.
Right. My number 3 is The Green Mile, which I think is better than Shawshank Redemption.
I wouldn't argue that, to be fair.
Yeah, I've got to say, The Green Mile. They used to show it on Channel 4 on a Sunday night at about 9 o'clock, and every time it would turn up. And with the adverts, that sucker's about 4 hours long. And I would know every time it was on, if I saw it was on, doesn't matter where it is in the movie, I'd know that I'd be super tired in the morning because I would be sitting down and watching the whole thing, which is what I would do every single time it came on. Because it's just like, it's one of those movies where you just kind of you just get drawn in straight away. No matter how far through you're in the film, you just get drawn in. And it's one of those films where even the horrible characters are like, you don't enjoy watching them, but like the performances, like Sam Rockwell, he's a bastard in the movie, such a bastard, but you enjoy his performance so much, even though he's really bad.
He has the chocolate in his mouth, and he's like, "Oh, this is it," and he goes and spits it all over.
Yeah,
nightmare.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one of those like Shawshank Redemption is one of those emotional roller coaster movies, but like. It takes you like on a journey, but at the end of it, I'm like, I don't mind going on that journey again. I mean, I watched it many, many times, and I have a really good time every time because like you're kind of worn out after you've watched it because it's like it gets your heart and pulls you all over the place.
Yeah,
but and the main guy, John Coffey, like,
is he dead? That fella now.
He portrays the magic so well, that that magic that's inside him is like. Kind of just oozes off him like in the whole movie. It's so believable, even though it's like an unbelievable story. You just get sucked into it, and it's just like it's so believable.
He's dead.
And yeah,
He's dead. Yeah,
yeah,
he's dead.
no, yeah.
Oh, how old was he?
So, yeah, that's my number 3.
How
Had
old
to
He's
have
quite
that
young.
really.
He's quite young, Elwood. He was quite young.
Us.
Yeah. Late
Huh?
40s, maybe early 50s. So,
Younger than us. Oh, fucking hell.
So even though it's not horror, it's that high on the list because it's just a damn good movie.
It's just that good.
Yeah, and I've got to say that 3 hours flies by for me. Like it's when you're in it, and you just go on the ride, and then at the end of it, you're like, wow, that was intense, man. I love it. So that's my number 3, The Green Mile. What year was The Green Mile? Was it
99, I think.
99 was it? I was thinking 2000.
I think so. It could be 2000, but I'm pretty sure it's 1999.
Jeez.
You know what? I remember when I bought it on DVD. It was one of those DVDs where you halfway through the movie you had to turn around like Goodfellas and play the other half of the disc. And do you remember the double-sided DVDs?
Yeah, I think man, the Goodfellas I've got is one of those. The Goodfellas I've got is like.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
What's your number 3, Pete?
Let me have a look. My number 3 is Shawshank, mate. Shawshank, because it is exactly like what you just said there, mate. I could be rolling in from the pub at 2 a.m. and turn the TV channel on, and it'll be halfway through the Shawshank Redemption, and I'll say to myself, I'll just watch a scene. I like this bit. I'll just watch this bit, and next thing you know, 2 hours have flown by, and I'm thoroughly invested in the movie. It's filmmaking at its very best, is what it is.
It's super watchable, isn't it? It's super watchable, even though you know what's happening. You're waiting for, this bit's gonna go. He's gonna he's gonna rip the poster down. He's gonna see the. You know exactly what's gonna happen, but it's like,
I've seen it many times, and every time I'm always feeling for Tim Burton's character, how persecuted Tim Robbins' character, how persecuted he is, and how wrongfully convicted. But the beauty of what Shawshank does, it doesn't really let you know until the last third of the movie that Tim Robbins is actually innocent. It has that, you feel that he's innocent because he seems like a nice person, but it never confirms it. In fact, I'm not sure if it even confirms it in the end. Was he innocent? He certainly had motive to kill his wife and his lover.
I think he's innocent because of his character in the movie. I mean, his character all the way along, you get to know him so well. Right. You know he's not capable of murder.
You're absolutely right, but it never confirms it. So you still have that, there's a little bit of doubt there. Morgan Freeman's character is absolutely fantastic. William Sadler's, he's just amazing in that movie. It's shot so perfectly. There's a full-on beginning, middle, and an end to this movie.
I'll tell you what, it's got more quotable lines than The Green Mile has. I'll give it that. It's got more quotable lines than The Green Mile.
The Rackawelsh poster and everything like that.
What's a quotable line in The Green Mile?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this. Shawshank's got more quotable lines than The Green Mile.
Green Mile. There's no quotable lines in The Green Mile. That's why it's not.
That's my point, mate.
Not that I forgot about it.
That's why Creepshow 2 made it in, and Green Mile didn't make it in.
Quotable lines, Creepshow 2.
Yeah, that's right, lady.
Green Mile.
But no, Shawshank is it's one of those movies that really should have won Best Picture. It really should have won Best Actor. It really should have won Best Supporting Actor. But it didn't. But it's one of those movies that we get to view as a public, and we get to change the story for that movie. And that's what I love about it. Same as John Carpenter's The Thing. We get to choose the narrative for that movie. And I use this term not lightly. It's a masterwork, and there's not many of them kicking about.
Will you put out number 3?
I put it number 3.
Well, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to hear what your number 3 is, Elwood. Tell us, please. I'm chomping at the bit. Tell us your number 3, mate.
Stand by me, number 3.
Stand by. All right, that's a good one, man. Good one.
All right, okay, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. Tell us why you love Stand By Me.
Who's your favourite character in Stand By Me? Who's your favourite character out the kids?
That's how this works, man.
River Phoenix, obviously.
Tell us.
So,
Isn't all right? Okay, yeah. I suppose
not
it's
that. I mean, he's so
mostly from his perspective, isn't it?
He's so pretty. Is that what you said? You did.
I might have said it accidentally. Can we do it?
All right.
No, I like the other one, the fat kid who was now. He was in Scream 4, I think, wasn't he?
He's like Jerry
Scream
O'Connell.
2. Scream 2. Yeah, Scream 2.
In Scream 4,
2.
Scream 3.
No, he gets killed in Scream 2. He gets like
he gets
hung up and
yeah.
gutted.
So,
Yes, hung up and good. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, it's got Emin O'Connell and River Phoenix and
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Who is the other one?
Will Wheaton.
Oh, Will Wheaton. Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah. Will Wheaton. Yeah.
I think they should remake it and make them all black. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
They probably would if they remade it. I can see that happening. Actually,
that'll be like box office smash. Because you got to do that these days, haven't you? You got just make them all black. Make them all black. Make the bullies white. The bullies can still be white. I don't know if that'll work.
Dude, have you got a problem with the Little Mermaid? That she's black. Have you got? Do you have an issue with that? I'm just wondering. No issue at all. A lot of people do.
Hair, she's black.
Why it would make a difference? But
how can she have ginger hair and be black? It's strange, that, isn't it?
Has she got ginger hair?
She's still got ginger hair. Yeah, Little Mermaid's got ginger hair.
I think mermaids have ginger hair. I think that's the thing.
You never get rid of that ginger gene. I'm telling you. My dad was a ginger, and I know that my grandkids will be full on ginger ninjas. I'm lucky it skipped a generation. I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm lucky it skipped a generation. But my dad was a full on ginger, and before that, his dad was like kind of my color hair, and his dad before that ginger. So that ginger gene, man, that ginger gene just pops up every now and then, man. Honestly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry. What were we talking about? We were talking about ginger people.
No.
But it was a nice side there.
Right,
Dave, what's your number 3, Dave?
My number 3, mate, and we've touched on it before, and Pete said it like most elegantly. He kind of touched on everything I was going to say. Is The Shining is my number 3, and I was very, very similar to Pete when I first watched this many years ago. I wasn't a fan. I have to be honest with you, and I didn't understand what everyone was going on about with it. But obviously, over the years, I've really come to appreciate it a hell of a lot more as I've rewatched it. And I haven't watched it a lot, to be fair. It's not one that I kind of really go back to a lot. But you can't deny that it's as close to a masterpiece of a Stephen King movie that you're going to get. Yeah. It gets better with every viewing. And I mean, Jack Nicholson's performance, what can I say that no one else has said about it?
I've got a clip. Hang on, I've got a clip. I might as well put it on yours. Hold on. Here we go.
I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in.
What made Stephen King not like it, do you think?
Because he changed the story, I think.
Yeah.
Changed the story too much.
It diverts from the novel quite a bit, apparently.
Mm.
I've not read the book, the original book or anything, so I don't know. But the only thing in that scene is when you rewatch it, here with the baseball bat is just ridiculous, right? Like if you don't focus on here, it's so If you don't focus on it, yeah. You don't focus on here.
It's quite a funny performance. I've got to say, Jack Nicholson, he's more funny than creepy. After you watched it a few times,
Oh yeah.
you watch his performance. You get that sometimes with really good actors and really good like classic movies, and you watch them. Like I watched Raging Bull, and Robert De Niro's performance in that, because you've seen it like mimicked so many times. It's proper full-on funny, man. I don't know how to find it like, more funny than anything else. Like rather than being impressive, it was just like funny. I can appreciate it. Yeah, I kind of find the performances funny. I don't know.
I really like that bit in The Shining where I really like that bit in The Shining where his wife comes down and she interrupts him while he's typing, and he's obviously typing, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, but we don't know that at that point. And he's like that going, he goes, when you hear me down here, you know, and you hear this noise, ching, 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 like he has this look on his face as fuck, and you're thinking, that's bitch control right there. You know what I mean? He fucking nails it. Like, I mean, he just goes, when you hear this sound going, ching, 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 that means I'm working. And she goes, okay. She's trying to pull it back, and he's just going, do you hear me? And I'm thinking, holy shit, that's bitch control, man.
Was
That's
that,
bitch
was
control.
it all like ad-libbed, or was it him just doing it like off the bat?
I have no idea, Elwood. I mean, it
I
looks
don't think
ad-libbed.
so. I'm sure they did 50 takes in every single scene in that
Oh,
movie.
you did do.
I was going to
do
say,
it,
I've got a free feeling with Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Nothing was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
Ad-libbed at all. I think everything was scripted.
Yeah, he would have been like, you did that 6 times. I want you to do it 8 times on the typewriter.
Yeah,
Ting,
totally,
ting, and then 2 more, and then say it. And then he didn't. Then he had after take.
Totally. Nah, great fucking film. Yeah, great fucking film.
Awesome. So get to number 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we just talked about my number 2 is The Shining. Yeah, it's one of those movies where literally like every frame in the movie, you could just like analyze it. Every single frame in the movie, kind of like there's something to it. Like when you watch it, and like with the music and everything, it's just it's just arranged in such a way that it makes you. It's kind of he has so much control, Stanley Kubrick, of like his profession, that he can make you feel a certain way just by where he places the camera and the frame and what's in there, and every single bit of the movie. It's just one of those movies where I don't know, it like forces you to watch it intently all the time. So that's probably the reason why. And it's creepy as fuck. It is a creepy movie.
100%.
And it's got like scenes that just kind of just stay with you. I mean, it's one of the ones where it's been parodied so many times, but it doesn't affect it when you watch the movie. Like some movies, like I remember watching Repossessed, and then for about 5 years on, I couldn't watch The Exorcist without thinking of
lick me. Which is ice cream. That's fucking brilliant.
That's The Exorcist, and it makes you think about it a different way. But nothing can put a dent on The Shining. Doesn't matter how many times you parody it. I mean, or who would do it. You just can't, change the way you feel about the movie because it's so strong. It's just that it's one of those movies that's
not a long
so
time.
strong.
What's the runtime on The Shining?
It's 2 hours, mate. I'll tell you. You know what's weird? I checked it on Google. It's 1 hour 59 minutes.
Never.
But on
Feels longer.
YouTube, if you watch it on YouTube, it's 2 hours 26 minutes. So I don't know what the crack is there. But,
There is a director's cut. There is a director's cut of The Shining.
I do find it strange. I find it strange that it's a 2 hour movie, yet Doctor Sleep, the director's cut of that is 3 hours long, and the original movie is only 2 hours. But Doctor Sleep is all right, but it's not a patch on the time.
Why hasn't nobody?
I was going to say it's surprising that nobody's mentioned Doctor Sleep in their top 10 or top 15 and that because
why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm just saying it was quite well received. I mean, personally for me, I watched it.
Empire. See what number it was. It was number.
Yeah, it was like I saw the Empire thing, and it was like number 11 or something.
What's the runtime on Doctor Sleep? No, that's about 20 hours or something. Isn't it?
Yeah, number 11. The uncut version.
Mike Flanagan doesn't do short movies, like apart from Absentia
3 hours
and
long.
What About the Mirror was awesome.
I think I switched it off after 20.
Yeah. I've got to say the director's cut is better than the original cut of Doctor Sleep. Well, I thought so anyway. But
shit.
Yeah. You're like Ready Player One, the signing bit in that. I think that's amazing. Best part of the movie. It's done so like, I don't know. It's like it's so accurate. Like I don't know how they did that. It's like so amazing.
Kubrick and Spielberg were friends there. Like very good friends. And when Kubrick died, Spielberg made AI, and AI was Kubrick's story, but Spielberg made it as a way to honor him. Now I rate AI. You know what I mean? I think AI is a fucking fantastic film. It makes me cry every time AI. But it was a tribute to his friend Stanley.
What movie was that, Peter? What movie?
AI. AI.
Who's in that?
Yeah,
Is
Haley
that the one with
Joel
Robin
Osment.
Williams? Robin Williams is in it.
Oh, yeah, he's like an AI. Robin Williams is this vending machine that you go to and you ask questions and he'll give you the answer to it. And I think Haley Joel Osment goes to the vending machine and he says, can I be a real boy and all this, blah blah blah, and he starts referencing Pinocchio and stuff like that. That's Robin Williams. But AI is a fantastic film, but it's. I think why it wasn't very well received at the time, it was very Kubrick, but it was Spielberg eyes, if that makes any sense, with its kind of soft temperament, and it made you cry, So it was slagged off for that. But no, I mean, listen, go back and revisit AI. Like it's a nigh on perfect film. Like AI, like it's fantastic.
Our beards are going great. Who looks more like Steven Spielberg out of all of us? I think it's me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just going to agree with that. I'm just going to agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm going for the All Father Time look.
All
I am All Father Time.
normal. We're all grey.
No, there's a few there, mate. It's just not long enough. Yeah.
How old are you, Dave?
I'm 42.
Young guys. We got a youngling. We got a youngling. Fair play, mate. Fair play. 42. Oh, those were the days. 42. Oh,
I remember it well.
What I got up to, the shenanigans I got up to at 42-year-old. Oh,
Yeah.
those are the days.
My hip only cracks twice when I'm in bed.
Yeah.
Only get up to pee 6 times.
Oh, fair play, mate. Yeah.
What's your number 2, Pete?
Oh, my number 2 is, I'll just remind myself, Misery.
Mine's Misery.
Yeah, and we've talked about Misery in that. I just think it's a short, sharp dash of absolute suspense. 90 minutes that movie's on for, and it's kind of a perfect 90 minutes. I showed it to my kids. My kids were blown away by how tight it actually is, and how tight the characters are. James Caan blows it out the park. We don't talk about Caan enough. When we talk about Misery, we all talk about Kathy Bates, and she's amazing, and she deserved her Oscar, by the way. But James Caan in this movie is fucking fantastic, and you can't get away. You can't get away with it at the end of the movie when he absolutely fucking grabs them burnt pages and stuffs it in her mouth, and he goes, "Eat it till you choke, you sick, twisted fuck." And I'm like, that's the payoff. Eat it till you choke, you sick, twisted fuck. I'm like, that going, yes, fuck that bitch up, man. Fuck that bitch up. Brilliant, man. Fucking loved it. Kathy Bates is suitably terrifying, and do you know what? It's I mean, the hobbling scene is fucking horrible, of course, but it's for me, it gets me. The bit that really works for me is not so much about how fucking terrifying Kathy Bates is, and she is fucking terrifying. It's about the fear that James Caan has just about walking, just about getting out of bed. He's stashing pills down the side of his bed, and that's what he's become. He's had to think like this because he's that terrified, and you're with him, and you absolutely understand his every move, and that's why this movie's so successful. Rob Reiner has never made a better movie for me, and I really love Stand By Me, but he's never made a better movie than
A Few Good Men's pretty damn good.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Say again?
A Few Good Men's pretty damn good.
It is pretty damn good, mate, but it's no Misery. It's no Misery. It's no Misery.
What? Is it for?
Aye, it's no Misery. I mean, Misery is one of those things that it's weird. I always remember when Misery came out in the cinema. I think it came out on Vestron Video or something like that. It didn't really get a big distribution backing, and it had no Macrovision on it whatsoever. So everybody pirated that shit. So you could get Misery all over the place. Perfect copies of Misery, and that there was no Macrovision on anything. And everybody had a copy of Misery. And I think that's probably why I've watched Misery as often as I've watched Misery, but it's great. It's the absolute A to Z of how to film and show suspense. It's great. That scene where he's out and he's knocked the penguin over. I mean, the penguin becomes a different thing later on. But when he's downstairs and he's trying to walk downstairs and he's falling all over the place and he's struggling and everything like that, and then the car's coming over the horizon, she's coming back.
It does.
Oh, you're like that. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. As the viewer, you're like, actually, get the fuck out. You're not saying, well, he'll be all right because it's only 60 minutes into runtime. You're not saying that. I say that all the time now when I watch horror movies or suspense movies in this day. I'm like, nothing's going to happen because blah, 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 blah. In that movie, I'm like, I go, run, get out. She's coming. Yeah. And that's the difference. That's the difference right there. You don't care, you don't scare.
Yeah.
You got anything to add, Elwood? Because that's your pick as well, isn't it?
Oh, my number 2 was Misery. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Just now, prattle on, Peter, didn't you? Sorry, I was trying to charge. I ran out.
He's right, though. He's right. I
don't even know what that.
Come on then, Dave. What's your number 2?
Is that me? What is that?
I want to wrap this up, man.
What is that?
Elwood, what are you doing?
Is that a fucking penis or something?
That's your hand, man. That's your hand. Get your fucking hand away.
Yeah, your hand. I wonder what it was. That was
oh my god.
See that? I didn't know what it was.
Right. I love it. Right. My number 2 is we've touched on it before, so we don't have to stay on it. Shawshank Redemption is my number 2. Awesome. I agree with literally what all you guys have said. I won't be able to add any more than what you have already added onto it. It's a fantastic movie, but I don't think it's the best one. I know a lot of people, it's their favorite movies, and like you said, Pete, it's always in the best film ever on these lists. It's not mine by a mile. To be fair, but I get it and I understand it. But there's another Stephen King movie that I just prefer a lot more to Shawshank Redemption, so that's the reason why that's number 2 for me.
Amazing.
That's what it's all about.
Right, we're on number 1, and my number 1. I don't know if you realise I hadn't mentioned it so far. I've got a little clip.
Creepshow.
Creepshow 2. Creepshow 2. Thanks for the ride, lady.
Didn't even make my top 15. Right, this is my number 1.
You'll enjoy Mr. Baldwin. And he'll enjoy you.
And the reason why I was debating whether I have Shining or Salem's Lot as number 1, but the fact is, Salem's Lot is the scariest movie on my list, and it gets top marks just for being scary, and it's one of the ones that affected me, and it's part of the reason why I love horror films and got me into horror films in the first place. It was this movie, man, and it's just a fantastic story, and I loved all the actors, and I don't know, when I start watching it, it's just I just go back in time and I just enjoy the whole thing. Even the bits that aren't scary, I can still remember the time. I can't do it, man. Honestly, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Do it.
It takes practice to do it. I can't do it, mate. I can't do it. You have to watch the video, isn't it? You have to watch the video. But but this one, like Peter said, it's got so many great scary, and it moves at a pretty pace.
Yeah, it does.
But it's got so many bits that are so memorable that most horror films have maybe 1 or 2 scenes that you remember that that was really good, awesome scene. Even something like The Thing. I'm not comparing to The Thing, but The Thing, there's the bit in the dog cage, the dog pound bit, that bit, and then there's the bit with the test, and there's a bit where they're strapped up. It's 3 great scenes that make the movie, but Salem's Lot's one. It's got loads of good scenes, all the build up. Where the kids get taken by, you don't see who it is, and it freeze frames just as they're getting taken. And there's a bit in the truck where they're delivering this big box, and that bit's so scary. And then, and like Peter said, the bits at the window and the bits with the "look at me, teacher," all that bit, and it's just on and on. And the bit in the morgue where she wakes up from the dead, Danny, where are you, Danny? That bit.
That's it.
and David Saltland, he's acts so brilliant in this movie. He's so scared. He's as scared as he makes you feel scared because he's so scared. He's like doing that prayer, making with the lollipop sticks, making us crucifix, and he's so scared. And it's just amazing. And yeah, I just love this movie. And there's not one bit I don't like. I read the novel as well, and the movie's scarier than the novel is. They made it because in the novel the dude talks, man. Barlow, he talks. Right. The vampire talks, and it's just like it just takes all the scares away. But this thing here is just this creature, you know.
Oh, it's just horrible looking, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you get close to him, that's it, you're done. The only time they can kill him is when he's asleep, because if he's awake, you got no chance. No. And like the whole town's, I love the atmosphere that like this whole town is like anyone who's still not a vampire is getting out, and like this literally a whole town of vampires, and they're all in the basement of this bloody big house, and you've got to get past James Mason to get to it, and his bloody sweetheart's stuck in there, and this little kid's going up there, and it's just
that house is creepy, you know.
Yeah, it is. And the music's awesome. I love everything about this movie. That's
completely.
It. That's why it's my number one, because it's a scary movie.
I completely agree. I love Salem's Lot. Yeah.
Go on, Pete. What's your number one?
Right, you might laugh at this. My number one is Silver Bullet. Right.
That's number one.
It's Silver Bullet.
What was Fred Savage? I don't believe it.
No, it's not Fred Savage, man.
Motherfucker's gone crazy, man.
I know. The reason why Silver Bullet is my number one. The reason why my Silver Bullet is my number one, mate. It's about going back and rewatchability. I could watch Silver Bullet every day. I absolutely love it, and it's scary as well. There's something about that movie that just is very timely. B reminds me of when I was younger and everything like that. It's a kick-ass werewolf film, and I fucking love werewolf films. Yeah. And it has that fucking priest. He's like, you see why everything serves the will of God. You see, you meddling little shit. And Corey Haim's like, I go, oh, it's phenomenal. Like, and Gary Busey's in this movie. Exactly. Gary Busey's in this movie, and Gary Busey is like your uncle. He's called Uncle Red in this movie, and I wish Gary Busey was my Uncle Red in this movie, man. He's so fucking cool. He turns up, gets drunk, plays cards, and he tells jokes, and he says shit like, "Holy jumped up, bald-headed Jesus Palomino." That's what he says all the time. He goes, "Holy jumped up, bald-headed Jesus Palomino." And when he's faced with the fucking reality that this person, no spoilers, is the werewolf, do you know what he says? "Holy jumped up, bald-headed Jesus Palomino." That's what he fucking says. It's fucking awesome, man. I love it, man.
Live.
Say again?
Do you say that in real life and every day?
No.
What do you how it goes? How it goes?
You're so sweet, man. I love you. You're adorable, man. You are adorable. But no, we're talking about what Gary Busey says.
No,
I movie Silver Bullet.
Work.
I think he says, I can't even remember what he says now. "Holy jumped up, bald-headed Jesus Palomino." But he has these quick. He has a wisecrack for everything in this movie. And what I like about this movie, it starts with killings. First scene is somebody getting their head lopped off by a werewolf, which is always going to be good. And then you get a few more killings, and then it's got a proper midsection in this movie. It feels like you're watching a Stephen King adaptation because the characters get fleshed out. You've got,
dude, do you not think the whodunit aspect kind of falls flat in the movie because it's so obvious who the werewolf is? It's like super obvious. Like,
it is super obvious.
Half an hour before the kid realizes who it is, you know who it is.
It is to the viewer. Surprise. It is to the viewer.
But I don't think it's supposed to be, dude. I don't think it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure it's like a mystery werewolf movie.
Well, I think the dream.
I think the dream. You figure it out.
I think
Is
the
he
dream
sus-
scene. I
He's
think the dream
suspicious, isn't
scene
he?
lets the cat out of the
Suspicious.
bag.
Yeah.
I think the dream scene lets the cat out of the bag. But that scene where Marty's sister is been collecting bottles and cans, and she pulls into the person's backyard, and the camera kind of pans round from her, and then to this person who's suddenly wearing an eye patch to reveal this is the werewolf because Marty shot a firework into his eye the night previously. So if you shoot a
I don't like movies where the
firework
audience
in
is dead.
the eye
I
of
don't
a
like movies where
werewolf,
the audience
then
is
surely
ahead
the
of everything in the film.
It's coming back
No,
to me.
don't like that.
I love that. I love it. And you know what?
What's
I
your
think
favorite scene in the movie, Pete? What's your favorite scene in the movie?
my favorite scene in the movie is
My favorite scene is when when they get like a posse out to look for the werewolf, and there's all this fog, and it's like at knee level, or like waist level, and the werewolf's in the fog, in this
under
mist,
the fog,
and it's grabbing people and dragging them down. That's
exactly.
A wicked scene.
So they
That's
go
a
in the
scary
forest. They go in the forest. There's this vigilante crew looking for folk, and there's this low mist that's waist height, and they can hear all this kind of like werewolf kind of like growling and shit, and they're like, "Where's it coming from? Is it coming from?" And one guy's going, "No, it's behind us," and the other guy's going, "No, that's coming from front." And then this guy turns around right at the camera and goes, "It's under the fog. It's right here with us." And then you go, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh," and then they start getting taken. Yeah, that's a great scene. Like, and it's the music as well. The music goes, dun, dun,
bit Jaws, isn't it? A bit Jaws.
dun, dun, dun. And when you hear that, you know the fucking and kids get killed in this movie. But my favorite scene in this movie, mate, and that is one of them. My favorite scene in this movie is where Terrence Stamp, the guy who played the stepfather, he's the sheriff in this movie, and these vigilantes in the local pub are saying, "Well, let's go out and fucking find this fucker and kill this dude." And the sheriff comes in and goes, "I've got a name for what you guys are planning to do, and it's private justice, and it's about a step and a half away from fucking lynch mobs and hang ropes. And I urge you guys now to go the fuck home." And then, just as he's telling this speech and he's starting to fucking calm people down, the father of a bereaved boy that's just been killed walks into this pub, and he goes and he does this speech about private justice, and I think he says, he goes, I think he says, you know, I think he goes, "My son was torn to pieces, and he goes, "And you stand here and tell me about private justice? You dare to do that?" And I swear to God, it's Oscar winning shit. He nails it. Like I'm like that good, yeah. And he tells them what the deal is, and then they all go, "Yeah, fuck you, sheriff," and they all go out and do it. It's a great scene. That's my favorite scene from Silver Bullet, where this bereaved father goes into a pub and tells them that that they should be out looking for this guy, and tells the sheriff to fuck right off. I love it.
I tell you what I like about the werewolf in this movie.
It's like a bear.
No, apart from the actual like werewolf looks shit, but the point that what I really like about it is that the werewolf comes in the houses and gets people. They like crash through a house, grab somebody, and kill, and then he's off again. That's scary.
Because I think what happens in this movie is, as this person has become been a werewolf for so long, his person starts to control the werewolf. So he goes for revenge, if you like. Going out for these people by the end of the movie, where at the start of the movie it's a wild animal, and the guy who's a werewolf doesn't know what the fuck's happened to him. But as the movie goes on, and this guy thinks I'm about to be discovered, the werewolf becomes the guy. It's fucked. I love this film. That's my number one Stephen King film. Silver Bullet. Awesome. I love it.
Crazy. It's crazy, but awesome, Pete. All right, Elwood, what's your number one, mate? What's your number one?
Stop talking about Silver Bullet over Shawshank Redemption. What the fuck?
Listen, don't get me wrong. Shawshank Redemption is an infinitely better made movie, and you know, it has it's it's infinitely better. However, I put it at the top of my list because that's the movie that I always go back to and I always rewatch.
You could always rewatch Shawshank at any time of the day, at any point.
I know. And I said that, but Shawshank was like number 3 on my list. I didn't give it disservice or
Is that your
anything.
number one, Elwood? Is Shawshank your number one?
Yeah, definitely. It's way better than any other Stephen King movie. Shawshank is, in fact, it's probably the best movie apart from Blair Witch Project ever.
He does love the Blair Witch Project, fair enough. And I love it too.
Yeah, well, how can you not disagree? It's got everything.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
It has though, hasn't it? So what was your number one, Vass?
Salem's Lot. Like Pete, it's just the one I enjoyed the most.
Dave, what's your number one, man?
I mean, The Shining's much better, but
could you watch that, show your kids it and stuff? And
Salem's Lot scarier than Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I know, but it's not as well made.
And Silver Bullet.
Nowhere near as good.
2 words, Creep Show 2. You can't say anything. Just stop.
That's right, baby.
Yeah,
he's got you there.
I'll end that now. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
I didn't hear that. No,
go on then, Dave. What's your number one?
We've spoke about it in length and everything. We've all had it in our top 10. It's The Green Mile is my number one.
Awesome, fantastic.
Yeah,
my number 3. But yeah, can't fault that movie, man. Just cannot fault it.
No, you can't. But like I said before, I mean, I've only watched it the once, and that's enough for me because, like I say, I just don't want to fucking cry like a freaking big baby again. You know what I mean? But that movie just emotionally, that no film has ever hit me the way that movie has. You know what I mean? Just and it's
impressive for a fantasy. It's a fantasy movie. It's not even like a drama. It's a fantasy movie.
Yeah,
but it has that power, man. It's a powerful film.
Yeah, it's a very powerful movie. Yeah, so for that reason alone, and just the experience I had with that film, even with it just being the once, it has to be the top of my list.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I respect that. Absolutely.
Right, I think we cracked it.
We have.
I think I would take any of our lists over Empire Online because they've got Dr. Sleep in there and all sorts of weird things.
No, none of us even mentioned Dr. Sleep.
Chapter 2, Chapter 2 was in the top 15, which is just nuts.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But, aside from Creep Show 2 and Silver Bullet being number 1 for Pete, I think they're all standout lists. Very, very well done, guys. So I think that's it. That's oh god, that went on for a long, long time. Holy shit, is that the time?
Yeah, right. Nearly 4 hours, man.
How did that happen?
That's how long it's, yeah.
You know, Dave, when you go on these streams, they do go on longer than.
Oh, mate, I've loved it. I've loved being here, guys. Thank you for having me. It's been great fun. I've had a laugh.
Imagine how long it would have been if there were 6 of us on.
Oh god, yeah, because JT can talk. You know what I mean?
Really can. And I would have had a few things to say as well with his opinions. But,
I'm sure. Yeah, I know you would have. Yeah, I would have just got some popcorn and sat back with that one. Just.
But me and Elwood were talking about it earlier on. I was like, I think there's going to be like 6 people or something like that tonight. I goes, Ricky's coming on. He's got Jay coming on, and I goes, and he was like, he said, "Don't bail on us." You better. And I goes, "No, I'm going to go." But I think I replied to him like, I'm just going to get a load of tinnies. And, my thoughts were I was literally just going to sit back and watch what you guys were saying. But this has worked out better. This is a more intimate affair. Yeah.
It's been good.
All right, then. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Go on, Howard.
Looking for bits of sticks to cook me chicken because I forgot my charcoal. It worked out really well.
He sent me photos of his fucking chicken dilemma as well today.
Charcoal. So all I did is
why the fuck did you go to a barbecue though without fucking any charcoal? I'm gonna light a barbecue. What did you think you were lighting it with? Goodwill.
I thought I had charcoal there, but it was not there. So I found sticks on the side of the road. You know, you get like road sticks, like sticks on the side.
Yeah,
of the
road sticks. Yeah, I know the
road.
one.
I collected all them and cook some chicken.
Do you know what?
The
Honestly,
forest right behind you,
Really
full of
nice.
trees.
do you know what? Do you know what, Elwood? Somewhere there's a kid with a fucking camcorder out of his window going, "Look at this weird cunt here picking up sticks out of a fucking next to the road."
Some of
And
the dogs
he's sharing it on fucking TikTok right now.
in, you know, teeth marks in like that.
What I love about Elwood is he's going to wake up tomorrow and go, "What the fuck did I do last night?" Because there's no way he's going to remember he was on this. No way. It's like, what did I do last night?
No.
Creep
Really
Show 2.
Yeah.
That's where he'll wake up and he'll go, Creep Show 2. Yeah, it's a good film. And go, what?
Why do I really want to watch Creepshow 2 all of a sudden?
Creep Show 2 is brilliant, isn't it?
I love it.
Right, let's wrap it up, guys. It's super late.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Thanks, James. Thanks for sticking with us.
Oh, no, no worries, man. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for keeping going, and Elwood, thanks for staying awake. That's the most important thing. Appreciate it, mate. It means a lot. It really does. So we'll be back with another interesting topic and lots of fun, and we hope to see you again soon. So thanks very much for watching. Guys, want to say anything quickly?
Yeah, maybe it's next time, Bass. Maybe you could do something like maybe it's like a quiz or something. What do you think?
A quiz. That's an idea. I haven't done one of them before. Yeah, I'll work on it.
We did a quiz tonight, Elwood, man. For fuck's sake. We did like a quiz tonight. We've done a quiz every stream. But yeah, well, you mean like a total game show? Like we'll do a game show.
Yeah, like a total proper one, like totally like sorted out. None of this nonsense.
Okay.
Sorry, this is Daddy Longlegs. Hates Daddy Longlegs.
All right, folks.
Can I just thank you for having us, Vas, and I'm sorry for dropping the M-bomb. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I went to the toilet and I was worried about it, and I was like, "Oh no!" Right, sorry.
We all understand. Everybody subscribe to Savage Zombie Reviews. Awesome channel. Thanks, Dave, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys. See you next time.